Thank you for welcome back. Yeah, I accidentally pulled my extension cord, turned everything off on mistake. Thank you, PigJet31 for the follow. Even though I haven't started streaming yet, but thanks for following.
one A10 per task force, and those are all full. So I mean, it depends. You know, there was maybe like 4 months ago a slot opened up, which was filled, but there's definitely, I would say, there's a waiting list for sure.
Nobody wants to give up that comfy chair.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's a very coveted position and requires a lot of training and time to be able to even fly it in an operation. You know, it's a big process. A lot of people have to put in extra time to put you through the training pipeline. And of course, you know, pilots have to be second lieutenants or above, so you know, they take a lot of care. Command does in choosing who is, you know, who deserves to wear officer ranks around here.
Roger that.
But yeah, there's definitely more slots in Delta Company than there's only 3 Thunder slots. I think there's there's 3 sections in Delta, 4 slots each. So I mean, if you want to be a pilot, you know, that's your desired billet. If they're all full, what you do is if you graduate OSUT, you call your MOS. If it's full, you know, you just take an 11 Bravo billet in the meantime and just wait till one opens up, and then you just put in a transfer request on the forums, and that's that. You know, it'll get approved, assuming you know you qualify, and yeah, then it'll be yours. So just patience and patience and dedication, really. But you know, we're just a reminder that our unit is based around infantry, so none of our air assets are allowed to do anything unless the infantry calls them in. So everything we do here is infantry centric. So that's where the meat and potatoes of what we do is on the ground. Our missions are all focused around infantry combat. So just keep that in mind.
It's a lot of sit there and wait for some shit to go wrong, basically.
Right. I mean, we try and, you know, get everyone involved as much as we can, but you know, that's the bottom line is when it comes down to it, is that if it comes to the infantry not being able to do anything because air assets kill it all, then you know that's not what we're about here.
Oh, most definitely.
All right, Sergeant, thank you. The class is yours.
I guess we just go. You guys finish every section from here?
We haven't done mounting, dismounting yet, Sergeant.
Okay, let's get moved in. Did we go over Black Hawk and the Chinook?
What's that, Sergeant? Can you hear?
Yes, you're on Whisper.
Okay, go ahead. What do you say? McCoy?
What did you say, Sergeant? I can hear you.
And now, saying you go over Black Hawk and Chinook.
Oh, no, we did not yet, actually.
Okay, alright.
My bad. I forgot about those. I can do those real quick if you like, sir.
Okay, I was about to go through it. Alright, go ahead.
Alright, sorry guys, last 2 Blue 4 assets here, for air assets at least. We have the Black Hawk here, UH-66 Black Hawk, I believe.
UH-60.
UH-60, my apologies. I've got to learn those numbers. This can fit 1 squad, I think about 12 people total. It's a standard utility helicopter. It's got miniguns on both sides. As you see in front of you, this is the proper formation that 1 squad would load in to the Black Hawk. Its call sign is Phoenix. Any immediate questions about the Black Hawk?
Negative.
It also has a fast roping system built in as well for air assault via fast rope.
Actually, I do have one question. The guns are served by the crew or by people that are mounting and dismounting the helicopter?
Okay, good question. We will go over that, but just to answer that quickly, the fire team leaders will be the ones manning the guns, so it is the infantry that's mounting up will man the guns. We don't have crew. We don't have crew chief billets or anything like that. So that'll be the job of fire team leaders when they mount, is to either take the crew chief spot or the other door gun.
Understood. That would leave squad lead for the co-pilot position, or
no, everyone will ride in the back. Because usually the squad lead is relaying information on the platoon net, so they're busy doing command and control with the radio. So it's up to the fire team leads to take up the spots for defensive positions.
Understood. Thank you.
All right, turn around here, and then we have the Chinook. The call sign is Phoenix Heavy. This can fit 2 squads of infantry plus a couple extra seats for command elements. As you can see, this squad here on your left is loading in at a 45-degree angle. Anyone guess why we load in like that?
Because of the exhaust.
Exactly. That will melt your face pretty quick. So always approach these from a 45-degree angle. Stay out of the backwash there. This has, again, there are 2 side-mounted miniguns, which, and since there's 2 squads, usually 1 fire team leader from each squad will take it. As long as the fire team leader gets in one of those positions, it's fine. This has a slightly different way of dismounting because if everyone tries to jump out at once, there's a glitch that will send people up into the rotors and blow up the bird, and yeah, then everyone's fucked. So we're about to go over that, so we'll get you learned. But so these are the 2 main troop-carrying helicopters that we use here. And again, this is call sign Phoenix Heavy.
Roger.
All right, let's go back to Sergeant's here. All right, Sergeant, I think that covers it for the ID portion.
All right.
So,
You want to do over mounting, dismounting? McCoy.
Yeah. Sure. Okay. All right, let's go back to Black Hawk, gentlemen. All right, so here's the proper procedure for mounting and dismounting the Black Hawk. As you can see, gentleman offset here to the side, that is the squad leader. And off to the right here, in the front, you have the fire team leader, followed by the AR, Grenadier Rifleman, and the medic on this side. The sides don't necessarily matter per se, just for demonstration purposes. We have, let's say this is Alpha Team on this side. So the proper procedure is first, the squad leader is going to request permission to board from the pilot. Once that is obtained, he's going to send on the radio, okay, Alpha Bravo, load in. Fire team leaders will take the gunnery slots there. Everyone else is loaded in the back. As each member of the fire team loads in, they're going to call up to their team leader on their team net and say, so-and-so in. So if I get in, I call up to Alpha and say, Alpha, McCoy's in. All right, so don't forget to do that, because if you don't send that up, your fire team leader won't be able to send up to actual, and the bird won't know when it's fully loaded. As a fire team leader, you don't need to say that you're in, because obviously you know you're in when you're in, and you just need to wait for the rest of your team to call it to relay to your squad leader that you're good to go. A couple notes here. If you happen to have to move around the bird here, never ever run behind it. Obviously because you're going to get fucking chop sueyed by the rotor blades, and also because the pilot can't see you. So it's very important, if you're going to run around, you take a wide berth like this and run around the front.
Roger.
This way the pilot knows if there's someone outside the bird, they're not going to lift off and leave your ass stranded somewhere. So that's definitely very important.
Question.
Send it.
Will the pilot, say something happens, it's a clusterfuck, and the pilot starts to take off without you, will he be able to hear you if you're yelling, or do you need to get on radios and say, yo, you're leaving me?
You won't be able to communicate directly with the pilot. He might be able to hear you. We don't leave our people behind at the same time. So, that's, I've never seen that happen.
Well, usually they count as they load, I believe. At least that's how we did it.
Yeah, I mean, this is a loading in on departure from base here. Like, if you're in a combat zone and loading in, getting out, you're extracting, everyone's just going to pile in. It's not going to be this formal because you want to get the bird out of there as soon as possible. Does that answer your question?
Where's that special?
All right. Okay, so it's important that everyone gets in on the proper side here, because when you dismount, you're going to come out the same side that you got in. So to avoid your fire team getting scrambled around, try and make sure that everyone is getting in on the same side. Any questions about mounting the Blackhawk?
Negative.
Oh, I actually forgot something. Before you load in a Blackhawk, always make sure that your team is locked and loaded, and your weapon is at the low ready, as these gentlemen in front have, because your weapon will be at whatever state you enter the Blackhawk in when you exit. So the last thing you want to do is get out in a combat zone and have to fucking load a mag before you can engage. So be ready to fight when you get in the bird.
You left. That happened Sunday for training. We get there. I was like, you're missing your magazine. He's like, oh shit.
Yeah, I mean, I think you can load it from your inventory inside, but
Yeah, you can. I
just be ready.
had to do that someday. So you just only inventory the copper to bag and that.
All right. And I guess one last thing, just remembered. If you're on the guns as a fire team leader, the procedure is to point them straight down at the ground. Keep it pointed forward like you see it now, but point it down. The reason we do that is in case there is a misfire, it's not going to shoot directly in front, and you're not going to accidentally shoot out the rotors. So if there is an ND, you're going to just hit the ground like that. See the angle of the weapon there.
Roger.
So when you're on the ground, keep it like that. All right, Sergeant, I miss anything? Yeah, and then again, just to reiterate, make sure you're running to the front of the bird if there's a problem getting in. You have to rotate sides, always to the front. I cannot stress that enough, how important that is.
Nope, you're doing good. Keep going.
All right, let's move on to dismounting.
It's a future sergeant in training right here.
All right, so we fly to the AO, hit the LZ, bring the bird down. Squad leader calls Alpha Bravo dismount. This is your standard security dismount procedure. You see one fire team covering all the sectors on one side, and if you look on the far side, you'll see the other fire team covering the opposite side. With squad leader and medic behind. This is actually a little bit close for demonstration purposes. When you get out, you're going to run a little bit further. But the idea here is to get away from the bird as fast as possible so the bird can lift off and get out of there. And it's pretty straightforward. When you get out, you're going to send up to your fire team on your radio, so-and-so out covering this sector or whatnot. Sometimes you will get out on the wrong side. It happens. Don't worry about it. We got a saying where if you're wrong, stay wrong. So if you do get out on the wrong side, don't worry about it. Just pick a sector that's not being covered and let your team know you're out so the bird can lift off. That's the main priority, is getting the bird off the ground, back in the air as soon as possible.
Question.
Send it.
So is there an exact specific formation, who goes where, who covers what, or just get out of the bird, get on the ground, call your sector, and wait?
Yep, that's pretty much it. This is just like the template that you're seeing right here, because everyone's going to get out at slightly different times, basically like seconds off from each other. So, whoever gets to the ground first got that sector, and you just want to fill in the blanks as you get out.
Huh.
So use your situational awareness, pick up sectors that are not being covered, get yourself away from the bird, good 5 meters, 10 meters tops, and go prone. And that's it. And wait for orders.
And who are the two that are just kneeling? That's
That'll be the squad leader and the medic.
Roger that.
And as you get prone and you're covering your sector, you're calling that up to your FTL to relay back to the squad lead to tell the chopper to bail?
Yeah, that is affirmative. Exactly.
Thank you.
Is there a specific reason the medic don't hit the ground? He just kneels?
I mean, usually, in practice, everyone will hit the ground. It's just demonstrative purposes here, but usually the squad leader is up, so they have they have a better view of the battlefield or the route that they're trying to take, because it's their job to command and control their fire teams to be, say, hey, all right, we're going to take this route. The terrain looks better from here, because when you're prone, laying in the grass or something, you may maybe not have the best eyes of your objective or wherever you're trying to go. All right. So yeah, when you get out, you're gonna send up a fire team. So and so out, covering this and that. As long as it's clear and concise that your fire team leader knows you're out, to send it up to squad lead. You're good to go. Any questions?
What if it was hut LZ when you're coming in?
Oh, then you want to get out even faster. If it's a hot LZ, the gun, while you're in the air, if you can spot targets, if one of the gunners can see it, try and lay down some suppression. You can catch the tracers. Try and reduce incoming fire as best you can. But at that point, the bird's going to set down, and you got to get out of there. Just the timer that you have to get the bird off the ground is severely limited. So definitely in a hot LZ, focus is key here.
Roger. Thank you.
All right. Sorry, did I miss anything?
Negative.
All right, moving on. We're going to try this in practice now.
Roger.
All right, Alpha, go ahead and get your team lined up.
Do you still want us in condition 4?
Yeah, stay in condition 4, but get your rifles out as if you were going to a combat zone.
Okay, let's squad line, prepare for mount.
Nope. I ain't no squad log.
Fire team file.
All right, so I'll just act as actual for this exercise. Or Sergeant, you want to act as actual?
Nope. You do it.
Roger. All right, so the squad leaders check with the pilot, permission to board.
Hold on, wait. Lower your weapon.
Yeah, Wade, keep your weapon at the low rate. There you go. All right, Alpha, this is actual. You're clear to board. Over.
Actual, this is Alpha. Read you Lima Charlie. We'll begin boarding immediately. Over. Let's load in.
Brevity over the radio.
Understood.
Excellent. Only heard one.
Make sure you set it on your radio.
Wait, then.
Actual, this is Alpha. Alpha squad, or Alpha fire team is loaded in the helicopter. We're ready for takeoff. Over.
Roger that, Alpha. Actual Alpha.
What shit you said,
It's fine. It's fine for this. That's just a call sign that we use for them. All right, so we're flying. All right, we're at the AO touchdown in 5. All right, we're on the ground. Alpha, dismount, get security.
Alpha, we're dismounting. West Kevin, northeast. Johnson dismounted southeast. Johnson dismounted to the right.
Actual, this is Alpha. We're clear to take off. Over.
Roger that, Alpha. Okay, recover. All right, couple things to notice here. So yeah, as you saw, Johnson, when you got on that other gun, you came out the wrong side, and you did the right thing by just taking that side. You guys, when you got out, Collins and Wade, one of you ran in front of the other person's line of fire, trying to find your position. So try not to do that next time.
Roger.
All right, but yeah. So as far as radio brevity is concerned, all you have to say, when you're in, you say actual Alpha's all in, over. Like, that's it. That's all you got to say.
Understood. Do I
And
have the
then-
option to select which gun I hop on? Because I failed to identify which one I was.
Yeah, I
supposed to be
think
jumping on.
the
Crew
crew
chief.
chief is the proper one. Yeah.
Oh, so crew chief is to the left if you're facing to the front, and door gunner is to the right.
Yep. Okay. Yeah, pretty sure that's it.
Understood.
Yeah, crew
Thank you.
chief's on this side. Yeah.
And then, sorry, do you want me to have him run it again?
Sure.
Or how we looking on time? I guess.
We still got an hour.
Okay. I will do it quick. All right. Alpha lineup, prepare to board.
Alpha, prepare to board.
Alpha's actual, you are clear to board.
Alpha, load in. Wade's in. Collins is in.
Natural, this is Alpha. Alpha's all in.
Roger that, Alpha. Over. All right. We're flying. And touchdown. Alpha dismount, get security.
Alpha, dismount. Wade is northeast. Collins is east. Johnson's southeast.
Actual, this is Alpha. Alpha's out.
Roger that, Alpha. Good shit. All right, recover. So the only thing, Jonathan, you don't need to call your sector because you know what you have. You just need to make sure that your guys are out and set as fire team leader. But
Understood.
other than that, that was pretty good. Any notes, Sergeant?
No, we'll get better with practice. Y'all will go through air assault school, hopefully, at some point when in the unit, so, but practice will make perfect. So. Yep, continue on with the Chinook.
Roger that. All right. Let's go back to the first phase here of the Chinook.
Roger.
Sorry, give me 1 sec. Okay, so similar, except an entire squad is going to line up on either side. So if you imagine a mirror image of the troopers on your left, that's what it'll look like in practice. Again, squad leaders in front, you're going to request permission to board. And then one by one, like left then right, they're going to board. And they're going to fill up the seats inside. So that'll lead us to our correct dismount procedures. Again, fire team leaders, you're going to take the miniguns on the side. So, I mean, if you're, and obviously there's going to be 4 fire team leaders in this bird, so, if you don't get one, it's not a big deal. Every fire team leader knows that they're trying to get one, so if a fire team leader loads before you, just take a spot, get in the bird. Again, send up on the radio that you're in. Essentially the same procedure, with the exception of the formation when you mount up. Any questions on mounting the Chinook?
Negative.
Negative.
All right, let's move it over. So similarly, when you dismount, the first thing you're going to do is get security. The biggest difference here, obviously this is a smaller kind of demonstration. If you imagine 20 people getting out of this bird, there's going to be a lot less space as you see in front of you right now. But the biggest thing, if you look over to your left, this guy and that guy over there, notice how they've button hooked and started facing the front of the chopper?
Roger.
So when you get in, there's an option for taking the ramp seat, which is the first seat closest to the exit. Those people are always going to be the first ones off, and it is their job to get security in front of the bird. So if you're ever the first person off on the right or left, always button hook around and get front security. Everyone tracking on that?
Sure.
Tracking, but I do have a question.
Send it.
Are there specific people that are supposed to take the ramp seats?
Whoever loads in last is usually going to take those.
Okay.
I mean, it's not a set thing, but as long as whoever's sitting in that seat knows that's their job.
Immersion break for a second though.
Yeah.
You'll know because the UI won't let you pick a regular seat. It'll only have ramp seats available.
Yeah, it'll be ride and back is the normal selection, and that'll just put you in a seat in the back. And then there's, we'll show you on the next bird.
Understood.
There'll be like sit in left ramp or right ramp or something like that.
Roger, thank you.
So the dismount procedure is a little different here. When you're inside, you're gonna be able to see the person to your right or left of you, depending on which row you're sitting in. And when it's time to dismount, you need to keep an eye on that person next to you, closest to the exit, and wait for them to dismount first. Give it an extra second, and then dismount. Because, like I said earlier, if everyone piles out of this thing, people are just going to stack up, and it's going to send someone into the rotors. And not only are they going to get fucking souffled, the bird is going to probably go catastrophic, or at the very least become inoperable, and we'll lose the rotors. So it's very important that you remember that, the dismount procedure.
Another question, specialist. If you're on the guns, can you also see the individual to your side, so you'll know to dismount after them?
Yes, so as long as you're not looking down the sights, you can use your look key. So if you hold left alt, you can turn your head over and see, but at that point, since you're the fire team leader, keep in mind that, once all your guys are out, they're going to tell you on the radio, so you'll have a good idea of how empty the bird is. I guess something to keep in mind, though, sometimes there are technical glitches and whatnot. So if the person next to you give them like 2 or 3 seconds, and the person in front of them gets out, but they don't do anything for a couple seconds, it's safe to assume that they are lagging or desynced or whatever. So just get out in that case. Don't wait.
Understood. Thank you.
All right. Any other questions? Sergeant, any comments?
Oh, this is something you'll really expect in a non-combat, because usually it won't be that perfect. If you actually in combat and you insert it to a high LZ, this is what it'll look like. Leroux.
Thank you, Sergeant. Yeah, and again, keep in mind this is only a small portion of what would actually come out of this bird, so be a lot more troopers on the ground in practice.
So I know we call getting in. Do we call getting out, or how?
Yes, yeah, always call you're getting out. So, just to consolidate your numbers so that, your squad leader, fire team leader, they know that everyone's out of the bird and that they're fully effective.
So how should it happen? If you're first in, you're the first one that's going to be out. If you're the second one, you're the second one out. How is it going to work?
It just depends on how it seats you in the bird. So the back seating is kind of random sometimes. So you just have to look. And then when we practice it on the next one, you'll see kind of what I mean here.
Well, I understand. I got you. Just look to your left.
Yeah.
Or look to your right.
It kind of alternates. So left, right.
Got it.
All right, if there's no further questions, we'll go ahead and give this a go.
Roger.
All right, move to the next bird.
Roger.
Alpha lineup, prepare to mount.
Alpha, let's get ready to mount up.
It's not opening.
Going all the way around.
Comes back up. You're in my spot.
Fairway.
What do you mean, Leroux? Leroux's not here. I don't think Leroux's here. Let me check.
All right, Alpha, you're clear to board.
Alpha, let's get on.
Roger.
Where are you going? Run around, come in the back here.
Oh, I didn't get the prompt for it.
Yeah, sometimes you have to scoot yourself to the direct rear.
Waited. Collins is in. Alpha dismount when ready. Waves up. Comms out.
Actual, this is Alpha. Alpha's out.
Covering northeast.
Roger that, Alpha.
Christ, 10 viewers? 7 from, probably 8 or 7 from YouTube, and probably 6 or 5 from YouTube. I wish people would view my Twitch channel more than they view my YouTube. I'm trying to get affiliated. Yeah,
Good
I'm
job,
trying to
Eddie,
increase
taking
my
that
viewer
sector.
average viewers. Like I get more
wanna try
viewers
to
to
get a little
YouTube
bit
than
further
through
away from the bird
Twitch
next
for some
time. It was
reason.
a little close, but good job. It's kind of hard to demonstrate with just a few people, but as long as you understand the concept of dismounting this bird, then it'll be good. Any questions about how that works?
Makes sense.
No special.
Nice.
Does it usually go left or right first when you're going out from the tail end?
It's kind of random sometimes, so you just have to be ready for anything.
Okay, thank you.
Sergeant, any comments?
Be sure to shoulder your weapons, guys.
You already told them just pay attention to when people are coming out, right?
Yeah, affirm, sir.
Yeah. Like yeah, it is a little random. Mostly always random. Usually they'll do it. They'll tell you about which seat, but usually always the 2 people in those front seats are always the ones jumping out first, even if they're not supposed to. But yeah, like Special McCoy says, a little random.
Yeah, so if you come over here and look at the scroll wheel menu, you see, get in, right and back, and get in as passenger right ramp or left ramp.
So yeah, you can select those seats.
So the passenger right or left ramp are going to be the seats closest to the exit.
And keep in mind, if you know you're the ones that are close to a ramp, that you're going to be mainly the ones button hooking to get security to the front of the bird.
Oh,
Roger, Sergeant.
Roger.
All right, good job, guys.
That's it?
I believe that's it for air asset, Sergeant.
Okay, awesome. Alright, Jimmy, go ahead and follow me. We'll go ahead and go through our ground VIX. Okay. So there are 2 types of vehicles that we will be always taking out with us if we're ever doing convoy movements, and those are our MRAPs. And you guys know what MRAPs are, correct?
Roger.
Roger.
Alright, so yeah, MRAPs are basically mine resistant, ambush protected. So these vehicles are designed for us to get into any IDs and make it out alive for the whoever's inside the vehicle. You get hit by RPG rounds, and the vehicle could still stay alive and allow us to dismount from it before they go catastrophic. So it basically protects the crew that are inside the vehicle from any explosions like that. So no one is Zeus right now, but we're Zeus in a few minutes when we go through stuff, but there's no Zeus. So usually what's gonna happen is that these MRAPs are meant for us to move around and patrol on. So it protects us from these certain things. So the variants of MRAPs that we take with us out patrol is the Cougar, which is what you see to your right. And we use the other variants of RG-33, like this one and other ones. So the Cougars mainly will have these cages on them, like you see right now. RG-33s won't have a cage on them, primarily. Now, with the Cougars, they're always mounted with either a AGL, automatic grenade launcher, or or with a mounted machine gun, which would be a 50 cal. And those are usually variants, the ones we'd be carrying with us. Alright, so moving on from there, we go ahead and go through some mounting and dismounting motorized vehicles. So, we do know that there are 4 men in the fire team, correct?
Roger.
And who is the people in the fire team? You got the fire team leader and who else?
AR, Grenadier, and the medic.
Yes, no, rifleman, medic.
But I'm sorry.
Yeah. Alright, so within the whole fire team, each person is assigned a role. So you can see how this equivalents to that. So the rifleman would be the driver. So that's his role within the vehicle. The grenadier is the gunner. The fire team leader, he is the vehicle commander. And then the automatic rifleman, he's the passenger.
Repeat that one more time, sorry.
Nope, don't say to repeat. Say again.
Say again, start.
So the rifleman is the driver.
But
The
I got
grenadier.
grenade. That's what I need. After
Oh,
grenade.
okay. So you just needed rifleman.
No, I got rifleman and grenade. I just need the other two.
Okay, yeah. So the fire team leader is the vehicle commander, and then the automatic rifleman is the passenger.
Oop.
All right. So everyone remembers the automatically assigned buddy teams, correct? So who's usually paired with? So who's usually paired up?
A fire team leader's paired up with the auto rifleman. A grenadier's paired up with the rifleman.
So this automatically transitions towards buddy teams within a vehicle. Well, to the team who's assigned with the Vic. So if the rifleman and grenadier is paired up, then what are their roles again?
Driver and gunner.
Yep. So then what other vehicle position will be paired up? So the driver and gunner is paired up. Who's the other ones that will be paired up?
Commander and a passenger.
Awesome. So yes, the rifleman and grenadier are the ones being paired up, and then automatic rifleman and fire team leader. So move on. So within these buddy teams and then within these vehicle positions, this allows you to know who boards into the Vic first and who boards into the Vic last. So the first buddy team, I'm sorry, not first buddy team, but the buddy team of the driver and gunner, that team will be mounting into the vehicle first. So who's the driver and the gunner again?
Grenadier and rifleman.
Awesome. So they're the first ones who will mount into the vehicle. And the second one will be the vehicle commander. So the fire team leader will mount up to the vehicle third. And then lastly, the automatic rifleman will board into the Vic last. Now, does anyone know the reason why the automatic rifleman will board into the Vic last?
If there was to be a contact, the automatic rifleman would be able to put down fire most effectively while the rest of the fire team was loading in.
Yes, and then that ties into his weapon system. He's able to shoot out more rounds than what a single person can do. So usually when three people are boarded into the vehicle, of course he's the last one. So if anything does happen, he could basically provide a firepower of two people instead of us having. Go ahead.
That means
Thanks for subscribing to my YouTube channel, Bergsker Regiment. Thank you so much for subscribing, man.
Then somebody in the vehicle can get on the automatic weapon and lay double suppressive fire.
Yes. So whoever's in gunner's seat, which is your grenadier, he can automatically turn that weapon system over around and support the automatic rifleman, and that'd be like 4 men shooting instead of 2.
Oop.
All right. So yeah, mounting sequence. I'll say that again. Driver and gunner team. They'll be the first ones into the Vic. Then the third person mounting up will be the vehicle commander. Then lastly, the automatic rifleman. Any questions on that?
No, sir.
Negative.
All right. Next, we'll be going over some vehicle security. So always keep this in mind. If you're the automatic rifleman, whenever you're the team in charge of the vehicle, the automatic rifleman will be the first one off the vehicle, and he's the first one. So he's the first one to get into the vehicle, and he's the first one out of the vehicle. I'm sorry. Say it again. He's the first. He's the first one to dismount the vehicle, and he's the last one to get into the vehicle. Everyone get what I'm saying?
Roger.
Roger, Sergeant.
Probably. Okay, good. Yeah. So automatic rifleman, he's the first one to get out of the vehicle and the last one to mount into the vehicle. So like I said, he is weapon systems able to provide more firepower than anyone else in the team. All right. Lastly, when dismounted, your number one task is to make sure the vehicle is secured. So there's different ways of what we mean by the vehicle is being secured. Number one, you gotta make sure the vehicle is in a good strategic location to where it cannot be overwhelmed by enemy fire. So what we mean by being overwhelmed by enemy fire, you gotta make sure that it's being protected. So it's behind a building, like its back is behind a building. So where it's not out in the open where it could be shot from 4 angles by an RPG gunner. You get what I mean? Another thing like that, make sure the vehicle is not in an intersection. If you leave it in an intersection, then the gunner has to watch between maybe 4 or 3 roads at the same time. So then that allows him to get hit by multiple areas. Make sure the vehicle is not stuck but near an alleyway. Somebody could not alleyway, I should say that, but somewhere where there's multiple alleyways near him, because then someone could peek out without him seeing him peek out and shoot him in the head. If you get what I mean. So you got to think of good locations to keep the vehicle at. while you're dismounting or where all the vehicle's moving. Secondly, you got to make sure that you have effective security. Make sure people who are in positions like you see right now. If this is, you'll learn later. I'll go on later on about different types of dismounting, but that's the fight simulator and that's AR. You see how they're able to give out 360 security of the vehicle.
Right.
So that's one thing about making sure the vehicle is secured. Then lastly, if you have to abandon the vehicle, make sure the vehicle is secured in a safe location. If you're in a friendly area where you're sure that no one else could come and do that vehicle. But I'm about to move on to tell you why you shouldn't actually leave the vehicle by itself. But number one task is to secure the vehicle, and there are some things I left out about how you should secure the vehicle and ways of what we mean by that. But you'll learn that later on when you get billeted. Usually your team leader your squad leader will tell you more about that information. Now next is your basic dismounting stuff. So when you're dismounted out of the vehicle, you gotta make sure that you stay at least 8 meters away from the vehicle to avoid any explosions on or around the vehicle. You're probably saying about that this vehicle was mine resistant, ambush protected. Yes, it is for the troops who are inside the vehicle. But however, it does not protect you if you're outside the vehicle. So if any explosions happen around the vehicle or on the vehicle, it does not protect you. Basically, you're making yourself get hit by that explosion. So always try to stay at least 8 meters away from the vehicle. So if it gets hit by a 40 mic or an RPG, you don't get hit by that shrapnel or by the blast. Am I understood?
Right.
Roger.
And you notice how these guys are 8 meters away from the vehicle. So they can't really get damaged that much by the RPG blast.
Roger.
Let's see here. Do not cross the road in the herringbone. Stay on your side with the vehicle. Sometimes there's a purpose why the vehicle's on the herringbone. It's because when the vehicle's going to herringbone, it basically gives the infantryman a strategic purpose, not strategic purpose, but a strategic way to actually get cover when they get out of the vehicle. So up here, you can come up here and get closer to me. When the vehicles go on the road and go in the herringbone, this gives the infantrymen who are dismounting out of the vehicle, when they get immediately out, they're already behind cover, and they get behind cover if they get engaged by contacts to the front. So you stay on your side of the road if there are any contacts down that road, because usually there'll be a emergency herringbone. So don't cross the road where this is basically a fatal funnel for you, if you relate this to CQB. This is the spot where you get yourself shot and mowed down, because these people always have eyes on the road. Sometimes a herringbone might happen if there is an ID on the road. Targeted vehicle drove past an ID and didn't blow up yet. But if you side across the road, maybe you just hit maybe a hot spot of the ID and you're going to blow up. So you stay on your side of the road. Now, to tie onto that as well, sometimes you may have golden herringbone if we want to get our if we do ever have higher supporting elements, such as you might want to get a vehicle that's better on being the point to get to the front of the convoy. You may want a tank to get in front of the convoy or whatever like that. So you don't want you to stop the movement of this transition or get yourself ran over because you want to get on the other side of the road. So always stay on your side of the road. And then lastly, if the convoy does resume their movement, the convoy has to wait on you because you're all the way away from your main Vic. So you got to run all the way across to get back to your original vehicle. So stay on your side of the road whenever you're dismounted, or whenever there's a herringbone, I should say. All right, time for us to go over the basic dismounts. The first dismount is soft dismount. The AR and the fight simulator will be the ones dismounting during their soft dismount. So this will always happen. You'll always do this if a vehicle is stopped for more than a few minutes, or the team, not team, but the whole element is transitioning from movement to maneuver.
Class at ease. Sorry, Munson.
I'm just observing. Thank you.
Roger that, Polly, sir.
So yeah, you'll dismount in a soft dismount. You'll do this if the vehicle stopped for more than a few minutes, or if they're transitioning from a movement to maneuver. So the people who do a soft dismount is the AR and the fire team leader, also known as. What is the AR and the fire team leader's vehicle position? What are their name? Also known as the Vic.
That's the commander and the passenger.
Yep. So those two are the ones who will be dismounting out of the vehicle if it's a soft dismount. All right, we'll move on to continue to the next part. Then you have your hard and combat dismount. This is when the vehicle is set to provide overwatch as a crew-served weapon. So in a hard combat dismount, the AR, fight simulator, and a rifleman will dismount. So that would be your driver, the vehicle commander, and your passenger. They're the ones who will dismount the vehicle if it's a combat dismount. And then the machine gun on top of the vehicle, or it could be your AGL. That with your team dismounting, the reason why the gunner stays in the Vic because he could be as a crew served weapon. He's able to actually provide more firepower than what the other team than what your team could do. That's why he stays in the vehicle at that time. And then lastly is full dismount. Full dismount is when everyone dismounts out of the vehicle. Now full dismount usually will never happen because you never want to leave your vehicle unsecured in a combat zone. So if we're in a combat zone, you never want to leave your vehicle unsecured. What we mean by that is that if you dismount, everyone dismounts the vehicle and then leaves it, and then runs away, and the vehicle is left by itself. Never want to do that. Yes, Robert Wade.
Say it's a hard dismount, we're all out. Got our sectors, we come under fire. Do we need to keep our sectors, stay put, return fire, or should we move around the vehicle, use the vehicle as cover, and abandon those sectors?
So here's the thing. So you said when we get into contact in a hard combat dismount, where only the gunner is left in the vehicle. Usually at this point, the vehicle will so during a hard combat dismount, if we're doing a long haul in a convoy movement, the vehicle usually the driver will put the vehicle in a good position to where it could be safe from any combat like that. So at that point, if we get to fire, the first thing you need to do if you're not in the vehicle is get to cover first. And then if the vehicle is in danger of getting shot by a BTR, a BMP, or anybody with an RPG, then the driver will have to get into that vehicle and then move it to some cover. If you're the fire team leader and the AR, your job is to basically protect the vehicle. So you got to make sure you get to the front of the vehicle, not front of the vehicle, but get to some cover where you could, and at the same time be able to engage in your infantry that's engaging the Vic and the rest of the element. Get what I'm saying?
Roger. You say if we're outside, get the cover. Would inside the vehicle from small arms fire be considered cover, or do you want us to just stay outside? And then my second question onto this question is, if it's a soft and we only have 2 men out, we come under fire, does everybody else inside the vehicle then get out and assist, or do they stay in the vehicle?
So the thing is, like we said, that's why we left the gunner and not Vic, so he's able to provide fire as well. This or that. Now, if we're in a soft dismount, like within the whole platoon being there, you have about 4 other elements who are being engaged in those contacts that we got engaged by, and by that point, we won't be staying put. We'll be pushing the contacts. So we'll be moving towards the contacts and clearing out where we just got engaged by. If you get what I mean. Dustin McCoy, you had a comment?
Thanks, Sergeant. Yeah, just to add to that, just remember to put this in context that each Vic carries a squad. So there's one fire team that's crewing the vehicle. Anytime there's a soft dismount, the other fire team is also going to dismount in addition to the 2 automatic riflemen and the fire team leader. So anytime there's a soft dismount, you have a full fire team getting out plus the 2 from the vehicle crew. So just keep that in mind in context that it's not just the 2 getting out, it's 6 people getting out at one time.
So that's the reason why I told you guys your main priority is to make sure the Vic is safe. Safe. So you gotta protect the vehicle when you're under fire. So basically, I'm relating every situation as you are the team that's in charge of the vehicle. So like Special McCoy said, a whole squad would be inside of this Vic. There's one team of the squads in charge of the vehicle, so they're always the ones who will be staying with the Vic. And then there's a team who is basically not in charge of the vehicle, but they're moving with the vehicle. If you get what I mean. Get what I mean? Private Wade. Everyone else? Yeah. So if you're the team that's in charge of the vehicle, everything I just told you is what you got to make sure you do. If you're the driver, you move the vehicle to a safe position. If the vehicle's gonna get bombarded by any rounds that could make it go catastrophic. But if it's just infantrymen, not any mechanized vehicles, then the vehicle can stay where it's at. The gunner can just mow down those targets. But your job as the crew who are in charge of it is to make sure that vehicle stays safe and does not blow up, if you get what I mean.
Roger.
The other team, the team within your squad, they're mainly be the ones who be pushing towards the contacts and clearing that out. and the vehicle gunner, he'll be basically be providing cover fire for the team pushing up. Does that answer your question? Any other questions?
No, sorry, I get it now.
No
Yep.
question.
So usually you'll never hear the command of full dismount in a combat zone, because like we said before, never want to leave the vehicle into combat, because this vehicle is a source multiplier. It basically brings in more fire for the rest of the element. And then secondly, you don't want to leave this vehicle out in the combat zone, because would you want an enemy taking this vehicle and then driving down the road you think is a friendly, and they're shooting at you in your back and running you over? Would you want that to happen to you?
No.
No, Sergeant.
So yeah, never want to leave the vehicle by itself. Now, if you're wondering what happens if you have to leave the vehicle, leave it unmanned, here are some situations that may happen. If the vehicle is too much of a problem for the squad to take with them, what they'll do is either A, they'll put a demolition block and blow up the vehicle. B, just blow up the tires. But if you blow up the tires, you gotta make sure you empty out the ammo inside the Vic. Yeah. Gotta make sure you empty that out, because you want them to use the wherever ammo that's in there and then mount up the gun of that Vic and just shoot everything else. So your main thing you will need to do is make sure you blow up the Vic. Even if you use up the ammo in the Vic, you gotta make sure you blow it up as well. If the vehicle is, if you're out of tires, if the tires are blown out, you gotta leave the vehicle again. Blow it up with the demolition block, but never leave the vehicle in a combat zone if it's operational and you could use it. If the ammo is still ran out, you can still use that vehicle to run over contacts. Yes, Mr. McCoy?
Thanks, Sergeant. Just to add as well, these vehicles come stocked with additional equipment that we could use, extra AT-4s, medical supplies, and ammunition. So definitely they're a valuable asset to us in the field, which is why we prioritize the safety of our vehicles. In the case that it does become catastrophic or we have to demo it, we want to try and get as much of that gear out as we can while still maintaining combat effective weight. So keep that in mind as well.
Correct. You're welcome. All right, let's see here.
I got a question.
Yes, go ahead.
It goes catastrophic. We try to prioritize what is the priority versus AT-4s, medical supplies, and ammo.
Yeah,
if the vehicle,
fuck away from it.
Or
yes.
if we have to clear it out, what's the priority upon the inventory?
If you're saying that if the vehicle's starting to smoke off, then you don't worry about getting the inventory. Your main priority is making sure you get yourself safe. Now, if you're saying if the vehicle is no longer usable and like the wheels are damaged, then what will happen is that usually the whole team or the squad will take out as much ammo as they can as possible out of the vehicle, and they'll radio up to their platoon HQ, which the platoon HQ would then ask other squads if they need resupply, and then the squad will just go and give the extra ammo they have to the other people. Yes, Private Johnson? Wait, actually first, did that answer your question, Private Wade?
So basically, take small arms, AT-4s, medical equipment.
Yes.
Secondaries.
Everything that's valuable, yeah, that you may need into the battlefield. Yep. And if you have enough room, take extra, because other squads may need them as well. Yes, Private Johnson?
Is there ever a chance that you'll have the opportunity to repair a vehicle if it's damaged, replace a tire?
Yes.
Okay.
There's been some cases where tires been damaged, and we had there's been some Vics that were disabled, like either the ammo was emptied out, or if there are some cases where one of the tires were out. What we'll do is that we'll pick one of the Vics to keep alive, and we'll take tires out of one Vic. We'll take all the tires out of it, put them in storage, and then use the rest of the tires to put in that Vic to make it operational. So yeah, sometimes we'll be taking tires out of the old Vics, stuff like that, to keep it operational. So yes. And then Private Way, I actually want to add to you as well, real quick, what Special McCoy said as well about the ammo inside the vehicle. That's why we want to keep it alive, because these ammo in there is always meant for us to use for a resupply. So usually,
yeah, that's why I was wondering.
Yeah.
You said you got medical, you got AT-4s. I know AT-4s.
Yes.
Once you use it, it's gone. Like, what do you prioritize? If you use your AT-4 and you could hold a second one in the tube or whatever, do you grab that? What do you want out of the vehicle? Most definitely, what is okay to leave?
Magazines. Magazines and AT-4 is the main thing you want to make sure you take out with you. Magazines, ammo. Then the mic would be usually, he's the only person who would be going to get extra bandages, because he's the main one who needs it personally. So leave that to the mic to carry it, because he can resupply you guys with those bandages that he grabbed out. But your main priority as infantryman is to get as much magazines as possible and the AT-4 out as well. And if there's smokes in there, grab the smokes. The reason why I didn't say about grenades is because if the contacts are within danger close of you, you don't need to throw that grenade at them. Just shoot them. And that's usually you use your grenades if you're almost out of ammo. You don't want to use your magazines if you get what I mean.
Roger that.
Yep, so yeah, magazines in your HE4 is the main priority. If you're a grenadier, make sure you grab some HE rounds out of that. So that answer your question?
So.
Alright, so we'll move on to introduction of basic convoy procedures. So this is where you're going to need your paper very, very badly, and with your pen. Alright, so first things first, I'll give you the convoy net. So the convoy net is 5-0. Say it again. 5-0. Now what the convoy net is, it's basically a frequency that is used for the rest of the element in the convoy, which is usually the driver, the gunner, to communicate with the rest of the convoy movement. So the convoy commander will be speaking on this net, and the rest of the vehicles will be speaking on that net. So yes, the rest of the convoy is speaking on the net in 5-0. That's what's recording.
Yeah, things are. I guess just when I add that, he's referring to the radio. That's the radio built into the vehicle, not the radio you're carrying on your person. Each Vic has a long-range radio built in. Which
About to go over that.
Sorry, my apologies, Sergeant.
Yep.
But, yeah, keep that in mind.
So yeah, that's frequency is 5-0 convoy net. Now, you might be wondering how to set up what Social McCoy said. You have to bring up your long-range radio. Now, how to set up your long-range radio is to press Alt-P. Alt-P. So you press Alt-P, you're going to go ahead and do the same thing how you do with your regular radio. You either highlight it or you press the CLR button. And then the long-range radio, there's a CLR button on there. You tap on CLR, it clears the frequency, you type in 50, and then you press ENT. I'm sorry, FREQ or FRQ, which will set the frequency. Yes, Private Johnson?
That's something that you'll do once you've mounted into the vehicle. I just
Yes.
tried hitting. Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks.
So Alt-P is a long-range radio. You could carry long-range radio into your backpack, or vehicles or birds. They have long-range radios already inside of them. So to access long-range radio, you have to either be in the driver's seat, vehicle commander's seat, or the gunner's seat. Any questions with that?
Negative.
Okay. Yeah, once again, you press Alt-Papa to open up your long-range radio. You press CLR once again to clear the frequency. You'll type in 50 using your numpad. And then you press FREQ. And that will set your frequency. So instead of pressing ENT, you press FREQ. Any questions? Alright. Now to follow up with that is your vehicle call sign. So each vehicle is given a call sign. That's basically meant by your position within the convoy. So if you're the first vehicle in the convoy, guess what? Your call sign is first Vic. If you're second vehicle in the convoy, you're second Vic. If you're third Vic in the convoy, you're third Vic, and it goes on until you're the last vehicle. If you're the last vehicle in the convoy, your call sign is last Vic. Any questions with that? Yes, no? Okay. Alright, so everyone knows what a vehicle call sign is. Yep, so it's not your squad call sign. Your calling station. Your call sign is basically based off your position in the vehicle. In the convoy. Alright, next is your convoy commander. Convoy commander is basically the person in charge of the whole convoy's movement. Usually your convoy commander will be your task force commander, or it'll be someone within the platoon HQ. The other ones who could dictate what's the convoy's route and movement, so he's the one that usually will place on the map the route of the convoy. He's the one who will basically tell the convoy when to go. When to move, when to stop, when to do a herringbone. And he's the one who will tell the convoy what's the speed to go on. So once again, I'll reiterate, your convoy commander is the person who's in charge of the convoy. That's what if you want to write that down, that's what you write down if we ask you that question during your oral quiz. Now, your radio checks. Your radio check is done the same way how you do it through your short-range radio. You just say, if you're the first person to do a radio check on that net, you will say, any station on this net, this is first Vic, radio check on frequency 50 over. That's the same way you do it. Now, if you already know someone's on the net, if they're already Vic did the net, or the convoy, radio check on the net, then you just say, first Vic, the second Vic, radio check on frequency 50 over. Same thing. Now, usually, sometimes the convoy commander is the one who will do the radio checks, because he wants to make sure that on his self that every vehicle is on the net, because he's usually will be responsible of that. So use your convoy commander do the radio check. So you just say, convoy commander, this is Vic 1, radio check on frequency 50 over. Everyone get that?
Sure.
Alright. Alright, move on to routine call-ins and combat call-ins. First thing first is routine call-ins. Routine call-ins are basically you going over your over the convoy net saying wherever you're doing a turn, what the speed is, and your halts. So, only people who actually tune in to that routine call-in. So, routine call-in and combat call-ins are on the same net. But all people. So, routine call-in is the main thing that will happen within the long range, within the convoy net. So that's the only thing that could be spoken through the convoy net. Get what I'm saying? Yep. All right. So yeah, that's a priority traffic of the net. So all the people who actually can speak on this net, based on the rules of the routine call-in, is the first Vic and the last Vic. They're the only ones who actually speak on that. So your job as first Vic and last Vic is to give out those routine call-ins, whether you're taking a turn or not. So first Vic will say first Vic turning left, and then last Vic will say last Vic turning left. This way the convoy commander knows that the whole convoy has just took that left turn, and the whole convoy is still on traffic. I mean, still on route. Speeds. Usually when the convoy commander says, "This is convoy commander on 50, move at 50 kph," and then he'll say over. And then the first Vic will say, "This is first Vic going to moving up to frequency, moving to speed of 50 kph," and then the last Vic would say, "This is the last Vic moving speed 50 kph." This way he knows that the whole convoy is now moving at that speed. See now how it takes a while for each vehicle to start getting up to that speed. So you have to wait for the person in front of them. And then lastly, halts. The first Vic will say, first Vic, Herringbone left. And the last Vic will say, I'm sorry, first Vic stopped. And the last Vic will say, last Vic stopped. That's why you know the whole convoy has stopped. You get what I mean? Yep, so those are your routine call-ins. Now your combat call-ins is if in combat call-ins anybody in the whole convoy can speak. So things that you can say in a combat call-in is either you spotted IEDs on the road, or if you're giving out spot reports. That's a combat call-in. Now combat call-ins can breach the routine call-in. But at all times, the radio net is set to priority of routine call-ins. And then only thing that can breach in that routine call-in is a combat call-in. Is if you spot any contacts anywhere, any infantry anywhere, or if you spotted an ID on the road. So the net can be quiet right now, and the only thing we can speak is if we're taking turns. And I can say, this is second Vic, ID on the road, 100 meters front, requesting a convoy to halt. And then the convoy commander say convoy halt or whatever. So second Vic could break that. He could break the net. Go ahead.
The combat calling and all, like, to break it down, routine is basically our regular radio chatter.
Yes.
Then our combat call-ins would be what, like, equivalent to a break.
Yes.
This. People need to listen.
Yes, I was just about to give that equivalence. Yeah. So your routine call-ins basically saying that, say if Special McCoy and I are already have control of net. So say Special McCoy said, Sergeant Smith, this is Special McCoy, and we're check. I'm on frequency, this and that. So we're already established our binary control. Then the combat call-in is like break. You're breaking into that net to give out something that's as an emergency. So combat call-ins are emergencies. Now, if you're in a vehicle, and if you're not the driver, you're not the gunner, or you're not the vehicle commander, because those are the only two seats who have windows around them, you cannot give out a spot report or an ID report. Because guess what? There's no windows near you. So you're breaking immersion by just saying, "Oh, we got troops bearing 300 or whatever." You don't know because you don't have the windows near you except for the windows to your rear. So we've already known there's contacts, because the contacts would be to our rear or whatever. Get what I mean? So once again, if you see something, you actually don't see it because you're not in the driver's seat, the vehicle commander's seat, or in the gunner's seat.
Can we call it over our personal radios? Like if I see something,
no. That's what I'm saying. This is different to your convoy net. It's something different. For everything all in all, everything all together, if you're in a vehicle, if you speak on your direct communication on your squad net or your team net, you do not see anything because you do not have windows near you to spot those infantry. Yes, Special McCoy?
Above all.
Yes, immersion above all.
Yeah, thanks, Sergeant. So a good way to look at it is when you're sitting in the back of the Vic. If you can't see it in first-person view, you can't fucking see it. Like that's it.
Yep.
You know, a lot of us like to be in third person as we travel, just because looks cooler. But if you can't see it in your first-person view from inside the Vic, you just can't see it. So just keep that kind of guide in mind there.
The only thing you can see is between those two little peepholes at the rear of the vehicle, like you see right here. Oh, that other one's closed, so you can only see this tiny peephole. And then there's a camera up here, but guess what? We can't use the camera in there because it's broken, so you don't see nothing at the rear of the vehicle except for through that tiny peephole. Or unless you've opened up the hatch. Thanks for the subscribe to my YouTube channel, Hero. Can you what?
Can you open the two rear views?
Yes, you can actually get out of the hatch and actually shoot through the hatch. And you do that by just getting to the left or right hatch seat.
Is that allowed?
Yes, it is allowed for you to go through that hatch and shoot through it.
No,
And you don't have to shoot through it.
Can you just open it and look around?
Yes, you can open them and look around. Yes, you can. You can do that if you want to. Sometimes, in some cases, it might make you look stupid because, in some cases, you don't need a hatch open. But yes, you can do that.
Then you're sticking your sweaty balls in someone's face too. So
Yep.
only use it when you have to.
I've sat one of these. I know what it's like.
Alright, so now we'll move on to sectors of fire. Within the convoy, each Vic has its own sector of fire. So if you guys get into a file for me real quick. So as you learned in day 1, you guys remember what your sectors of fire were for a short hold, correct?
Roger.
Yeah, okay. So let's say I'm the first Vic. I'm taking my pistol. My sector of fire is to the front. So Johnson, you're the second Vic, correct? So do you have to actually look at the same sector I'm looking at?
Negative.
No. Yes. All right. So you have to look either left or right. So pick a sector. All right. So Private Wade, you're gonna do the opposite of the vehicle in front of you, and then Collins, what's your sector of fire? There you go. So what we mean by sectors of fire, this is where your gunner's turret will be facing. So the first Vic, his turret will be facing to the front. Johnson, yours to the left. Wade, yours to the right. Collins, yours to the rear. It could be vice versa. Johnson, if you're facing right, then Wade, you'll be facing left. Private Gillen, Special Quick, can you hop into here? Alright, Gillen, come to the front. Alright, Gillen and McCoy, I want you guys to just pick a different sector. Alright, let's go ahead and pick a sector. Let's see if they could figure out what to do. Yep, there you go. There you go. Alright, yep. And you actually won't be looking to an angle, you actually be looking direct front. That's just in theory. But yes, you actually will be looking at an angle. Gillen will actually be looking at this kind of an angle. McCoy will be looking at, like he's looking right now, kind of an angle. And then Johnson will be looking straight left or right. But we don't do that, because the reason for that is because you never know how many vehicles you might have in the convoy. So you just keep your turret to direct left. But guess what you can do, though? You can keep your head to swivel. To do that, you just double tap Alt. And you can keep your head swivel and keep your turret facing towards your sector. Get what I mean?
Roger.
Alright, so everyone knows about your sector of fire within the convoy?
Roger.
Affirmative.
Now, let's do this real quick pop quiz. Wait, get out of the file. Johnson and Collins get in the file. Face, yeah, whoever wants to be face. Okay. Now, you two are Vic, so where your sector of fire be at?
Is it just the two of us?
Yep, just you're two Vics. There you go.
Ideally,
Yep, just like that. One watching the front, one watching the rear. And you head to swivel to look towards the left and right side. Alright, you pass the pop quiz. If there's 3 of you, that there Vic might also look to the left or right. That's a big one spot to look towards. Alright, move on. Short holds. If you're in a short hold, you'll do you leave your engine running. In a short hold, you actually will be primarily doing a soft dismount. So in a short hold, you'll be in a soft dismount. So who dismounts during a soft dismount?
fire team leader and auto rifleman.
Yes. And then in a short hold, you'll leave your engine running. Now in a long hold, you'll turn off your engine and you'll do a hard or combat dismount. And who dismounts in a hard combat dismount?
Everyone except for the grenadier.
Yep, everyone except for the gunner. Yep, awesome. Now, the reason why you turn your engine off is because we might need to listen to radios better. Two, you don't want to run losing in that field for fuel, because like I said, it's a long haul, so you might be there for about maybe 5 minutes or more. So you want to waste that fuel. And then lastly, we might want to listen to hear if we hear any troops sneaking up on us, or if we want to see if any armored vehicles might sneak up on us as well. Any questions with the short hold, long hold?
No, Sergeant.
All right. When you're on the base, you gotta make sure that the turret is facing towards the sky. Now I know you guys probably wondering, wait a minute, that's what just told us that our turret should be facing towards the ground if we're on the airframes. Yes, if you're in the airframe, your turret should be facing towards the ground. But the reason why it has to face towards the ground, because like you said earlier, you don't want that Gatling gun facing towards the air, because you're going to hit friendly airframes A, and B, you might hit the wings of the rotors of the airframe. But however, the airframes are always on the airfield. These VICs are always in a mortar pool. So a mortar pool is usually never that close to a airfield. So with that said, the turrets will face towards the air, so that way you won't actually ND and then the bullet might ricochet off the ground and hit somebody, or you actually might hit somebody. And then lastly, you're not going to hit any other friendly VICs as well when it's faced towards the air. So we shouldn't really be expecting any airframes coming in, or coming in instantaneously, not instantaneously, but coming in constantly over and over again to where there's always an airframe in the sky. Maybe once in a while an airframe might be in the sky, but however, you'll know there's an airframe coming through and you won't actually accidentally hit it, if you get what I mean. So where should your turret be facing if you're in a vehicle when you're on base?
Up to the
Forward,
sky.
up, and away.
Yep. And then where should your Gatling gun be facing if you're in the airframe and you're in the airfield and the airframe hasn't lifted off yet?
Forward and
Forward
towards the ground.
Awesome. All right. Now, keynotes. Vehicles. Yes, what's required?
Thanks, Sergeant. Just want to add to that. Something I like to quote the first sergeant on in these situations. Don't be a fucking moron, and you'll be fine. That's all. Thanks.
Definitely. And remember, guys. Never mind. I was gonna use special quote and make it sound cool like was mine. Whatever. Vehicles when moving and maneuvering work the same as infantry. So vehicles to act just like an infantry squad. When you learned during the Bound in Overwatch course how you could bound during alternating or successive. You could do the exact same thing. Thanks for the follow, fabulous cool hand. You could do the exact same thing when bounding with your vehicle. So as you guys notice, you can bound with two elements. You can do the exact same thing with 4 vehicles. 2 vehicles could bound up while 2 vehicles provide sensor fire. A great example of that was during our last operation in Blackadder. Our retired Lieutenant Lewis, who was the first, who was a platoon leader of the first platoon. He did this exact technique. We were bounding across the open field. He did exactly that, and I do have a video of that if you want to look at that. But vehicles can move and maneuver the same way as infantry do the same as well. They can use formations, they can provide base of fire, and a whole other sorts of things. Now convoys are controlled the same as infantry squads, so they move when ordered and they communicate movements. Like I said earlier, they communicate their turns, they communicate their speeds, they communicate their halts, spot reports, contact reports, IEDs, and stuff like that. And they move when they are ordered to by the convoy commander. They stop when ordered to by the convoy commander. Any questions?
Negative.
Awesome. We've completed this section. We do have 4 minutes left. However, we need to go through CQB, so you guys have enough time after the time limit.
Plenty of time, Sergeant.
All right, Private Johnson.
Affirmative.
All right, awesome. All right, let's go ahead and follow me, Sergeant Montriata. Did you put that in the specific area? Is it outside, I'm assuming? Yeah, I see it. Go ahead, follow me, gentlemen. So you don't need to see how the long range radio looks like, and you don't want to try to set it up. You good with that?
It's also in the
seems
handbook,
simple enough.
Sergeant. Do you need to see it?
Okay, we'll show it to you after you're dismissed, and then you go ahead and practice on that, setting it up if you need to.
Go to the first house, not the second one.
Alright. Now, CQB is something that takes a very extensive long time to train on because not every soldier is perfect, but we do want to put you on the path of becoming a perfect soldier. Not the first one. This is the first one, alright. Alright, so, like I said, CQB and mount is something that the infantry squad always practice on because they can never get perfect on it. And we don't expect someone to get perfect on it. There's no master at it. No, I should say that. There's no professional at it. But there can be somebody who's very good at training at it and doing it. Now, we're about to show you is basically the basic fundamentals of CQB. This is what you'll see in theory. Now, during times when you get into contact or you're in a combat zone, we don't expect you to do the full extent of this, but we do expect you to keep the basic fundamentals of a CQB and mount. Now, today, since we don't have enough time to show you mount, we're going to go over CQB. You'll basically learn further into how to do mount, but then you get built in your squad, and you learn that in SLC 1. You learn in SLC 1 how to do mount as a squad leader. And you can take that course even if you're a PV2. Now, as you can see to your right, yes, you would do that. Alright, so come follow me over here. We'll do like this, like as you're approaching from here, from this angle. No, actually, let me just show you the stack order, and then we'll practice on that on the outside, and then I'll get to you on an instruction. So as you can see right now, these gentlemen are stacked into a wall. This is the basic order they'll be in. The point man will be primarily your rifleman. Second guy would be your fire team leader. Your third guy would be your grenadier, and then the last one would be your AR. That's what generally your stack order would be. Now, if you notice, these gentlemen are doing a what you'll call they're watching their own sectors of fire. It's like what you learned earlier about sectors of fire of a vehicle. So each person is watching their own sector. So the point man is watching direct front. In addition, he's watching this doorway too as well. If anyone comes out and runs in and tries to stick on us, he could easily shoot the guy, if need be. The fire team leader, or whoever's second man, his sector is basically right off to the left-hand side of the shoulder of the point man, and to right here after the 45-degree angle. Grenadier, his sector fire is from off the right of the guy to the rear, and to a 45-degree angle. And lastly, the AR, his sector of fire is basically from this corner to about 35-degree angle. Any questions?
Negative.
Okay. Now the fight leader can at once he could be able to support a point man if need be by just standing up. He'll be basically shooting over the point man's head. He could watch from the front as well if need be. Awir? What do you mean Awir? Oh, sweet. All right. What's next? All right. So at points whenever we breach the compound with a building like this right here, usually you'll stack onto the compound first. But right now I'm just gonna show you all basic fundamentals at the building, but when it's time for you guys to practice on it, which you will do later on after you learn everything, you gotta make sure you stack onto the compound wall first, and then breach the compound, and then breach the building. That's something I want to point out. You gotta treat compounds just as if they were actually a house or a building you're breaching into. You gotta do the same CQB matters, which means pieing the compound entryway and moving alongside the compound walls, and I'll teach that later on. Alright, so the fight team leader, when his team is moving down, they see a building or a compound, he'll give his team, alright team, stack up on the wall. That's what they're doing right now. They'll stack up into this order like I told you before. And what was the stack order?
Rifleman, fire team leader,
Grenadier, and Saw.
Yep. Now, this could be interchangeably. This is not your permanent position. It could change. Sometimes some people might want to put an AR in the front. Once again, he has a higher firing rate, so he can shoot more contacts if need be when he's pieing the doorway. But we'll continue on. So until his team stack up the wall, that's exactly what they do. From this point, the fire team leader will immediately tell the point man to pie the doorway. There's no need for him to make sure that his team is set yet, because he doesn't need to make sure yet. On time to make sure that his team is set is when it's time for him to breach the building. He wants to make sure his team is ready to get in there. But we'll continue on. So I wish I had a rifle on me, but Professor McCoy could do that. So Professor McCoy is going to show you how to pie a doorway. What he's going to do is that when the fight team gives him the order to pie, he's going to stand up, he's going to fan himself away from the doorway, and then he's going to pie it. But he's not going to crossfade the funnel. Where he's looking at, where I'm at right now, is basically how far he can breach from. So primarily, we gotta make sure this doorway is already open before the order of pieing is given. So now he's gonna pie the doorway. He's gonna show you how to do
Got an opening front, wall on the left, opens right, staircase right. No movement.
it. So what's gonna happen is that when the point man pies doorway, you notice how he didn't go all the way around here. Did you guys notice that? Reason for that is that's because he doesn't want to cross the fatal funnel. If he gets to right here, now he's open to angles from the left-hand side and from the right-hand side. And he can only shoot one target at a time. So he's going to make sure he doesn't get too far away, like this is exactly what he just did. Once he pies up here, he's going to immediately fall back to the stack, and then you notice that what he did, he gave out a reconnaissance report. He lets his fire team leader what he saw. Take his steps, McCoy. So from this point, when the fire team leader gets a reconnaissance point, he finally gets to know what kind of a breach he needs to do. The first type of breach is a normal breach. That means the team just calls their stack, and then when the last man says last man stack, that point man would just say going in, going left, or going in, going right, and that's when the team breaches in. But first thing he has to say breaching, 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 then he'll say going in, going left to let the whole team know he's moving. The second level of breach would be non-lethal. You're throwing your stun grenades. He'll say stun grenades if he was given a report by his point man that there is infantry in there and there's a civilian in there. He could use a flashbang if there's a civilian in there as well. So we don't know if that civilian is hostile, and we don't know if there's a contact in there. I mean, there's an infantryman in there that's with the civilian that was hiding behind a corner. So that's when you do a non-lethal breach. A lethal breach is if we know there's contacts in there, there's no civilians in there, we'll just throw the grenade. So if someone engaged that point man, the fight team will just say, all right, we'll do a lethal breach, then we'll throw a grenade in there. I'll address your question in a quick second. Wait, let me finish this quick part. Now, with this stun grenades and grenades, the team breaches in once that grenade and stun grenade goes off. So as soon as it goes off, the point man will say going in, going left, and everyone else will say where they're going in. And I'll elaborate that further on. Private lead.
I'm trying to think about how I can do this. I'll show you. Hold on. So fire team said he wants to flashbang this.
Yes.
I move in to flashbang it. All of a sudden now there is a contact in front. Do I take the contact or throw the flashbang?
This is what would happen. So the point man, when it's time for the breach, so what would happen is that, like I said, everyone would call their set. So the first man would say 1 set, second guy would say 2 set, third guy would say 3 set, and whoever's the last man in that stack order, he would say last man set. So primarily right here, that fourth guy would say last man set. Whenever the fight team leader gives you the order to set, when he tells you, all right, say that you're set or call your set, wherever he wants to say it, this is the part where you bring your rifle to the front. When you bring your rifle to the front, then the fight team leader will go ahead and throw the grenade or stun grenade. At this point, the point man, he'll get himself an angle off right here. So I wish this guy wasn't right here. So let's pretend the stack was right here. He'll be right here, and then the the fight team leader will be just right behind him throwing a grenade. So he's protected in front of him by his point man, and fight team leader is basically going to throw the stun grenade or grenade in there, and both of them will fall back to the stack. And they'll wait for that stun grenade or grenade to go off, and then they'll breach. You know what I mean?
So when the guy throwing the stun grenade or whatever grenade, if he pops out, there's a guy right next to him. He needs to throw the grenade. The guy behind him is charged of covering his 6 and making sure if there's somebody there all of a sudden.
What I said was that the point man is in front of him. The fight team leader is, whoever's that second guy, or the one who's throwing it. So let me actually read this. The point man never throws a grenade or stun grenade. The second man throws a stun grenade or the grenade. That's the person who throws it. Now, like I said again, if there's a situation where we know there's contacts in there, the fire team leader, so let's say I'm a fire team leader, Special McCoy is a point man, Special McCoy will do exactly like this. He'll get to the doorway where I'm directly behind him, and I'm going to throw the grenade or stun grenade in there, and then once it's been thrown, we'll fall right back to the stack. You get what I mean?
That's what I was saying. So when you move up to throw the grenade, if there's a contact, it's Specialist McCoy's job to
take it out, yep. Mm-hmm.
That should be a surprise contact because McCoy already fucking pied the door.
Yep.
Yeah, if I can add some to that too.
Go ahead, Special McCoy.
So the angle here, you only have to move out a little bit.
Yep.
And using the advanced throw, you would just throw that flashbang off the door.
And it bounces in.
You won't even be exposed. It'll bounce back into the room.
Let me change the question. My question is, if you were in charge of throwing the flash, the grenade or whatever, and you pop around to do it, and all of a sudden there is a contact there waiting, is it your job to take care of the contact first, or is somebody else going to take care of the contact for you? You just need to throw the fucking grenade.
Yeah, because you're not the point. The point man's job is to take care of any immediate danger in your front.
Yeah, so that's why I said appointment will be moving with that man who's throwing the grenade or stun grenade. He's basic security, so if someone does pop out while you're in the middle throwing it, that appointment will just mow him down. Private Johnson?
Just for my notes, you said there were 3 different forms of breaching. There was non-lethal, where you'll throw a stun, lethal, where you throw a grenade, and what was the first?
Normal breach.
Normal, okay.
Yep.
So just to add, actually, so probably see where I'm standing right now? This is about as far as the fire team leader would have to go to throw a grenade. You don't have to expose yourself at all. Like,
yeah, my question was really like, if I was the guy that had to do that, do I concern myself with the contact, or do I just get rid of the grenade and get it in there? But yeah, you answered it.
Yep. You're gonna rely on your team to take care of you.
Yep. That's what I always said. If I'm a team leader, I know this is a guy in there, I'm gonna have my point man move with me to throw that grenade. But like Swift McCoy said, you don't have to move that much closer because that grenade will bounce in there and blow up whoever is near that doorway for us to breach in quicker. All right. So now I'm gonna give you guys how it ties into basically your stack order, how it ties in towards the level of breach. So within normal breach, like I said, sorry, actually not this. So within every breach level, the team leader will always tell his men, all right, first man, say that you're set, or he'll just say you're set. The first man will say 1 set, second guy will say 2 set, the third guy will say 3 set, and it goes on and on to the last man in that stack order. He will say last man set. Like I said, you only say you're set until your rifle is pointing towards the front of the stack. And your rifle... Sorry, sorry, I was reading chat. So basically, your rifle will be pointing not on your battle buddy, but I mean not on your brother, but it'll be pointing basically on the shoulder of your buddy, like you see right now, what McCoy is doing right now. So only call set when you're standing and when your rifle is towards the front of the stack. From this point, when he hears last man set, if it's a normal breach, then the point man will lead the breach. So basically, he will say breaching, 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 going in, going right, or going in, going left, whichever side he decides to go to. And I'll elaborate on that a little bit more later on. Now, if it was a non-lethal breach or a lethal breach, we don't breach by the order of the point man. We breach by the order of that stun grenade. So when the stun grenade cooks off, or goes off, or when the grenade goes off, that's when we breach. So when you hear pow, that's when you go in, and the point man will say going in, going right, and then whoever's behind will say going in, going left. Any questions with that? Any questions on how to breach within those level of breaches?
When do you need to look away from stun grenades? If you threw it from where the point man is into the building, do you need to look away through the wall, or if there's a wall there, you shouldn't really need to worry about it?
So yeah, like we told you on day 1, stun grenades are a little iffy. Sometimes they may get you. Yeah, sometimes they may get you through the wall, but primarily, when you're throwing it, the stun grenade will basically bounce to up here, so it shouldn't hit you. As long as you're not right here when you're throwing it, you gotta make sure you're back to your stack so it won't affect you. You get what I mean? Now, me, in my own personal opinion, whenever I throw a grenade, I'm always facing my head over here, even though it's a bad thing to do. But I know Arma, sorry to break a branch, but I know Arma is going to get me. So I always point my head straight up here, because usually the grenade will cook off quick enough for me to put my eyes back to the front. But
yeah, I got yelled at Sunday for it. They're like, why didn't you look away? And I was like,
yeah.
I don't know.
But in theory, keep your eyes to the front. Never keep your eyes away from that doorway. Keep your eyes towards the doorway. So, like I said, move your way back to your stack where you're at originally. And you shouldn't really be effective and get hit by that stun grenade. So now, before we continue and move on, some little quick.
Just add some.
Go ahead, subsequent.
Thanks, Sergeant. So also don't rely on your flashbangs to neutralize the enemy. Assume that it didn't work every time, because there's a good chance that it didn't work. So go in, focused and ready to go. Assume that it didn't work, and that's your best bet in that case. That's all. Thanks, Sergeant.
You're welcome. Yes. It has to. The contacts or the infantrymen have to look at that stun grenade for them to get effective. It's very easy for us to get affected by that stun grenade than it is for these contacts to get affected by stun grenades. So like Subsequent said, go in there as you are assuming that you didn't throw a flashbang in there. Alright, so the house note, a quick house notes I want to go over. Whenever your barrel is facing, or your barrel is up, Subsequent, can you do that for me real quick? Oh, no, he's going off comms. Private Gillen, if you're there,
Yeah.
watch out, Private Wait. When you're in this stack, I want you to just stand right here with your rifle pointed up, if you can. When you're in the stack and you're a point man, one thing you gotta make sure, your barrel is not passing through the doorway. Reason for that is because you just lost your element surprise. They already know you're breaching in as soon as they see that barrel, so all they gotta do is keep their eyes to the doorway and wait for you to breach in. Now, you're probably saying, oh, I don't care about that. Let's go ahead and relate this to something that you very dearly love. Imagine this barrel as your tiny penis. Would you want your penis to get shot at?
No, Sergeant.
Alright, so don't put your barrel out there like that for the contacts to see. So make sure you be attentive of basically where your barrel is looking at. You don't want your barrel be peeking through the doorway or any entryway as possible because you want to keep your element surprise. Any questions with that?
No, Sergeant.
Alright. Let's see here. What specific was here? Could have continued on. But so make sure that your barrel's not faced through that doorway. You don't want any contact seen through there. Now, at the time of stacking, once everyone said their stacks, let's pretend this is a normal breach. Your main thing you're gonna do is that as soon as you go in, if you're the point man, you're gonna go into the spot that you weren't able to clear. So if I was point man, I was behind this doorway. I wasn't able to see what was to my hard right. I saw what was my hard left. I know the hard left is clear, but I wasn't able to see what was to my hard right. So when it's time for us to go in, I'm gonna say going in, going right. Because guess what? Why would you want to go left if you don't know what's to your right? Because you automatically get yourself shot at. Get what I mean?
Roger.
Yeah. So you're endangering yourself if you're going to the spot that you already know it's clear, because you get yourself shot in the back, and then B, you can get your other teammates to get shot as soon as they get into as well, because that guy's trying to shoot at you. Alright, thank you. That's quick. Alright, so when they get back to the stack, like I said again, you can make sure that you're going to the side that you aren't able to clear out, or where, if there's any contacts in there. So when you go in, you gotta make sure that you do not stop. As soon as you say you're going in, going left, you're going in here like you're Wolfman Jack. You're not gonna stop. You're going in there, going in wild. So you gotta make sure your rifle's pointing up, and that is staying up. Your lasers are on, if you have a laser, and that you're on full auto. Because you want to hold on to that trigger as long as you can to take out any contacts you can. So if you get engaged by contacts while you're going in this doorway in the center, you're going to shoot at them, and then as soon as you pass through this doorway, you immediately bring your attention to the corner. And I'll let Subsequent take rest over from there since it's a rifle. And since he's ready to do it, since I don't have a rifle with me.
So how do you turn on lasers?
Say again?
How do you turn on the lasers and the flash? I know you can cycle. How do you do it?
You press Control L to activate it. And Control L will basically cycle through between the laser or IR laser, and you press L to turn it on when you're on that setting. Now you have to make sure you have laser pointer red or laser pointer green. Those are usually the lasers that you can see without having night vision on.
That's Control L to cycle and just L.
L
This
to
is
turn on.
leading.
Turn.
Yeah, leading
Yeah.
the-
Yep.
Yeah, I think you guys only have IR lasers right now, but
Yeah.
that's something you get after OSUT.
And I love it dearly. Alright, you can continue on
Does
Switch McCoy.
it change? Like, does the laser during daylight actually help?
There's a red laser that's
Like
that
that.
helps, especially for CQB. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that definitely looks like it'll help.
Alright, let me join on this stack. Give me a second.
I have a stupid question. If
Yeah, go ahead.
It's okay. In this incidents right here, where you have straight and left is clear, right's unclear. You have stairway that's unclear. You're moving to the right because you know it's unclear. Engage targets, but you also have the stairwell. When you walk in, these targets are going to tell everybody targets upstairs. Come downstairs.
Yes, this is the third day of the basic
So the
training
next man
pipeline.
should
The next step after the
immediately
kind of
say
into
stairwell, right?
recruit training. Yep. So you have recruit training,
So the main
and then after
thing
recruit training is
covering
OSUT,
danger
which is
areas.
right here. And this is the third
So
day
the
of
first priority is
OSUT
clearing
of your
the first
AIT.
floor, the first man in, since you can see this.
So
you can see the wall.
if you will count this your training pipeline, this is your fourth day in your training pipeline. But this is your third day in OSUT, fourth day in a training pipeline. So we have RCT. RCT is your crew training. We basically during crew training we just tell you what the weapon systems are. We tell you what weapon system you're supposed to have, what your loadout is supposed to carry. That's basically what you have. That's basically your crew training. OSUT gives you the basic fundamentals that you need to actually get into billet and what you have to be in the billet. And that goes through a 4-day long course. So there's 3 days of instruction, and the fourth day is your practical exercise, which is where you get to put in everything that you learned during OSUT.
Questions because this is the one thing that I'd never really got to do as a medic.
And this is the hardest part of.
I never got to do it.
You never expect a medic to do CQB, but like we said in OSUT on day 1, every person within this unit, you start off as an infantryman, and we give you those skills of being an infantryman. And then after that, you pick your billet, but you don't have no excuse if you ever fill in, you know how to do CQB. And if you ever decide to transfer to a infantry billet, you don't have to go through OSUT again, if you get what I mean.
Oh no! What I meant was like I was a medic in real life.
Yeah. I can do a lot of this. Oh, okay.
I don't know much about it because I wasn't allowed to do it. So
the keys really you have to remember: violence of action, fluidity, and danger zones. Like those are the 3 keys to effective CQB and breaching.
Roger that. Yeah, this is the new part to me. Like I don't know any of this, so this is what I'm learning.
Like the tricky thing is, sorry to break immersion, but in Arma, you can never do this as fluidly as you would in real life.
No, fuck no.
So we do the best we can. Sometimes slow and steady is better, but you also don't want to lose your tempo at the same time. So this is something we practice constantly. This is something you'll never get perfect at. As long there's only so well you can do. Every situation is different. You really just have to drill the fundamentals into your head to be effective at this sort of combat.
All right. So when I told you earlier about saying your rifle has to be standing up while you're moving, this is what I mean. Because you don't want to do this going in there. You get engaged by contacts and then try to shoot the contacts. Get what I mean? So your rifle will be standing up and steady. And how to do that is you press C. Or Charlie, and you keep your rifle up. And I'll give you guys time to try to get that set, okay? So I'm gonna go over this again. I'm gonna load my rifle in here. Make sure you guys your earplugs are on. I'm gonna show you something that's very important that you guys need to know. When I told you earlier, when I said that you should never stop in the doorway. Now you're probably wondering what happens if you get contacts in the middle of the room. You need to ignore it because that second guy will engage the contacts in the center room, and he'll bring his attention to the corner. The third guy would do the same thing, and the fourth guy would do the same thing. The third guy and the fourth guy, their attention would be mainly towards the center room. They'd never be checking the corners. So if you're the first guy, and then this is going to be live fire real quick. I'm going to show you guys what to do. When you're going in, going left, going right, and then my attention straight immediately to the center of the room. To the corner of the room. So I'm engaging yes, you can engage the contacts that's in the center of the room, but your attention immediately, as soon as you pass that threshold, you gotta bring your attention towards the corner of the room because you don't want yourself getting mowed down by the contacts that's in the room. Always trust your buddies behind you to handle that, okay?
Right.
Alright. We're going to go ahead and do the breach. We're going to show you how to do it, how it looks like from the outside, and then we'll show you how to do it, how it looks like from the inside. So everyone else wants to get into the stack.
Is there a clean house, Sergeant? Without the
No, I can take them out.
Roger.
Thank you. Well, actually, how about this? We'll show them how it looks like on the inside, and then you'll take them out. So that way they'll see. Come inside. So when you're going inside the room, so in a perfect room, imagine that there were a corner over here, and there was a long corner over here as well, just like how it looks like from over here on this side. The first man, he'll get to this, so he'll clear out this corner, and then when he's done, he'll make his way all the way to the corner. He'll stop there. The second guy, he goes opposite where the first man's going. So the first man went right. The second guy, he'll go left. And he'll reach all the way to the corner and he'll stop there. The third guy, he'll go opposite of the second guy. He'll go right. And he'll meet the first man halfway. So halfway between the first man and the doorway. So this is where he's stopping at. And then that last man, who'll do the same thing what the third guy is doing, he'll go halfway. Now, in this room, you gotta deal with METTC. This room is a little bit different. So as you see right now, The first man stopped right here, but as furthest he can go, put his table in his way. But he reached his corner. Then this second guy, he went up to here, but he need to keep his eyes out to the room right here. And plus, there's obstacles in his way, so he reached the furthest he can go. The third guy went right here, and the fourth guy went right there. So that's basically how you need to get yourself set up. Everyone has their eyes up to the room. They have their own sectors.
Can I add something here, sir?
Yes, go ahead, Specialist.
So you notice how all of these guys are glued to the wall here. It's very important. Once you breach into the room, stick to the walls like they're fucking magnets. Never ever run across the middle of a room. You have to move around, stick to the wall, because what's going to happen if you cross through the middle? You're going to get yourself flagged by friendly fire, and you're losing 2 sectors immediately when you do that. So say someone does come down the stairs, you run across the room here, you're going to get either shot by the OPFOR, or your own guy's going to shoot you because you ran in his line of fire, and he's trying to get that guy. So always remember, stick to the walls. If you need to move around, just move around the wall. Never ever run through the middle of a room.
And when you say wall, you mean have your back on a wall, not a window. Have it on a physical wall.
I mean, like
this.
It is what it is, but yeah, preferably not a window. But if you have to, but just make sure when you're moving around like this. Never ever running like this.
If there's a window on the side you have to stop at and you can't get any more further, that's where you're crouched. But primarily, we already have a security element out there. It might be another team providing security while you breach that building. So you don't worry about any contacts outside trying to shoot you from the windows. But if you're by a window, you're crouched by it, so then they can't see you. Any questions from there? Alright, then we'll take these demonstrators out of here, and then we'll show you how to breach from the outside, and then show you how it looks like from the inside later on after you get those out. Alright. So, first man, Glenn, can you get in here for us? So, let's imagine this is a 3-man breach, because usually buildings like this will mainly happen with a 2-man breach. Buildings, if they're a big building, then you'll see a 4-man breach. But this will be a 3-man breach. You see us in our stack right here? Well, imagine that McCoy is our team leader, so he'll go ahead and give me the order to pie. And then everything else from there.
Alright, pilot door.
Pie? Alright, got a hallway towards my left, a short hallway. It's already clear. I got stairs toward the center of the room. I am blind towards my right.
Roger that. Get set. Standard breach and clear.
Roger. 1 set.
2 set.
Last set.
And now he's a rear security, so he keeps his eye to security towards until I say breach, breach. That's when he brings his eyes to the front. breaching. Going in, going right.
Go left.
Right's clear.
Left clear. Covered stairs.
We'll stop him here. Alright, I want you guys to come inside. You saw how it looks like from the outside, correct? Alright, we're gonna do it again. We're gonna start from the part where he gives us the level of breaching. Alright, come back out here, McCoy. And Private Gillen. I'm sorry, Special McCoy and Private Gillen. Alright, so just point your rifle to the front, Gillen. And we're about security right now. Alright, so go ahead, give us going in. Breaching, going in, going right.
Breaching on left. Left clear.
Right clear.
Covering stairs.
Alright, we'll stop from here at this point. So once we go inside our corners, once we reach our limit, and once the first and second guy is in there, they're the ones who could call their side clear. So notice McCoy called his side clear, I called my side clear. Thanks for subscribing to my YouTube channel, Galen.
Actually, you would be covering the door because I have this section.
Yep. So the last man breaching in, he'll primarily clear out. He'll primarily get security to the door once we reconsolidate it, like McCoy just said. So once we get in here, we call our side clear. So usually team leader will just say room clear after he hears both sides clear, but usually team leader will be the second guy in. So then after he hears that first man say his side is clear, then he'll just say room clear. From that point, we reconsolidate and we figure out our next objective, where to push next if it's more danger. So as you see right now, Special McCoy immediately got his eyes to the stairwell. So that's danger area. However, we still have a hallway to clear out. So basically, the team leader will tell a man to post himself up the stairwell and keep his eyes to that sector and he stays there. Then, so this imagine it's a 4-man breach. Then the last guy get his eyes up to the doorway, make sure no one tries to flank us. Oh, while we're clearing out this building. Then that other last two guys, they'll continue on moving and they'll move alongside the wall. So as McCoy said, let's pretend we're continuing movement. We've already consolidated. As McCoy said, he's watching stairwell. As team leader, he'll say, "All right, second buddy team, go ahead and move and clear out that hallway towards the rear." So from there, I'll tell my guys, let's pretend I'm 2IC. I'll tell them, all right, let's go ahead and move on the other side. We'll follow alongside this wall and we keep on moving. And we're following along the wall, like I said. Pretend your butt is a magnet and the wall is a magnet, is the negative of your butt. So you're going to be attached to this wall at all costs. Now the reason why we say this is because if you're moving towards the center of the room, there's no way of you seeking to make sure you're not getting shot from multiple angles. Say if I breached in here and I did this right here. If there's a contact to my right, I'm getting shot from my right and I'm getting shot from my left. However, if I was sticking to the wall, I'm only getting shot from my left-hand side and I can engage targets from my right. I'm not getting shot from multiple angles. You get what I'm saying?
Sure.
So always stick to the wall. In addition to that, if we were just moving from the center, if there was someone hiding behind a table, I would have gotten shot, I should say. That's why we stick to the wall. If we're able to clear out behind tables easily instead of trying to go between the tables. You get what I mean? If there was a table right here and a table to my right, then I'm being shot from the left into the right. If I would have went from here, I could shoot downside these two tables. Imagine there was a table there, if you get what I mean. But that's very complicated because you don't actually get to see what I'm talking about. It's like Sergeant's talking to himself. But yeah, that's what will happen. Alright, so we'll continue what we were doing earlier. Alright, so resume. I'm team leader.
Alright, Team 2, clear the back right corner, covering stairs.
Roger, clearing. Clear.
Roger, set push up.
Roger, we'll be back to you. And notice how we're still following alongside the wall. And from here, alright, I'm on you. I'm telling McCoy we're on him so we can push up that wall. And McGillen's still keeping his eyes up to the doorway. He's staying there until we push up the stairs. Once we push up the stairs, that's when he'll follow us and still continue getting security towards the rear. Alright, we're resuming now.
Alright, pushing the stairs.
On you.
Opens right, clear, balcony.
Roger. I'll get balcony. Or you got it? Good.
Got it. Going in, going out, going left.
Going in, going right.
Clear.
Right's clear. Balcony's clear.
All clear.
And that's when the team leader, like you said, all clear. The building's clear. We'll exit out and we'll put ring spray paint on it. But you'll get that after you get billeted. Alright, so...
Coming down.
Yeah, that I forgot to say as well. Almost jumped ahead. So,
friendly's coming out.
whenever you're exiting down the stairwell or anything like this, a danger area, you're gonna say friendly's coming out, because we don't know if that was cleared or not. So you gotta say friendly's or not, because if you hear fire, sometimes we'll assume that our friendlies might be down or they're still alive. So we gotta make sure that it is them coming out. Now, when you say coming out of a building, you say 3 coming out, 4 coming out. You might say, I thought we had to do brevity. The reason for that is because even if you say friendly's coming out, if you say 3 coming out or just friendly's coming out, we don't know who's the enemy or not. He probably took a U.S. Army uniform, and we didn't know who was contact or enemy. So if you say 3 coming out, if there's a 4th guy running out of here, we'll stop him immediately and then ask him who is he. Or if he's actually wearing enemy fatigues, we'll immediately shoot him. Get what I mean? Alright. So you guys ready to try? Oh, actually, I want to show you how to breach a stairwell real quick. So that's something that people usually do wrong. So come up here real quick, and then we'll get you guys practice on breaching. So when we breach a stairwell like this, now say if this side was opened up, if this side behind me was opened up, you guys want to come up here. Actually, you'll see it better up here the way I'm coming up here. Like, if this was opened up, this is how I'll come up this stairwell. Like, I'll come up here. I've already seen what was up here. I immediately bring my attention back here. Now, since this part is closed, when you saw Special McCoy come up here, he did exactly this. He swept it just like that, as he was going clockwise to the right. You'll never keep your eyes up to the right. You keep your eyes out to the front, and then sweep it to your right. Alright, any questions? Alright, we'll go ahead and take you towards... Well, actually, we'll have you guys practice one time here, and then we'll take you to the live fire out there, okay?
Roger.
Yeah, just to add to what Sarge was saying about clearing the stairs. So at no point are you ever looking away from your rifle. your rifle is aimed wherever you're looking at all times when doing breaching and clearing.
Understood.
Surprised I'm getting this much viewers and subscribers
I
and
just
followers,
want
but
to
thank you so much
say
for the
thank you.
subscribe.
I tend to
Galen Hanlon, let's go
focus
go
on
through
right
our
than the
our
actual
list
left.
again.
So pay attention
Once
to
again, thank
which
you so
left
much
you
for the
are.
follow, Ari
That's all.
LaFay.
Oh,
Thank
yeah,
you for the follow,
again, if you're wrong,
PigJet31.
stay
Thanks for
wrong. So
subscribing to my
say,
YouTube channel.
the point man says
Bersker
going right,
Regiment,
but they go
Hero
left.
Hero, and Galen
It's on the
Hanlon.
next person
And thank
to
you for the
correct
follow
that,
once
to
again.
go right, when they would normally
Fabulous
go left.
Cool Hand.
Just pay, use situational awareness. Use your brain.
I will be
That's
streaming
actually
after
correct.
this OSUT. I'll be streaming Rainbow Six Siege
Understood.
after this, and then I'll be ending the
So Wayne,
stream
you want to
for
take point?
today. Thank you guys so much for watching and continue to watch.
Yeah.
This is about to end in about 10 or 15 minutes.
Or yeah, I guess that makes more sense for Colin too. Just since we don't have a rifleman on us.
Just situationally, sometimes the AR can take point, but it's usually not advised if there are, if you think there's civilians or HVTs in the building, because the accuracy is not that great, obviously.
I'm like, I can
Understood.
switch weapons. I don't mind taking point, but like.
No, that's fine. That's fine.
No, it doesn't matter.
Practice.
Never switch to your pistol whenever you're breaching inside a building or a compound. Alright, on the order of the team leader.
Collins, go ahead and pie the door.
Roger. There is a flat wall on our left, hallway straight, staircase in the center of the room, and the right side is blank.
You're blind, right? Okay. Let's go ahead and get set for normal breach.
Roger.
Collins, you say one set, then you continue on the line.
One set.
2 set.
3 set.
Say last man wait, since you're the last one in the breach. Alright, stack.
Last man set.
Breach, breach, breach.
Going right.
2 ain't going left.
You're leading there, Wade. Press E again. Maybe that's why. Press E once. There you go. Yeah.
You don't want to. You see, at this point, since you were here, you don't want to watch the door. You want to watch.
Yeah. Like I said, yeah. Like I said earlier, you watch the door once the team's reconsolidated.
So
stay-
if we don't
you
have
keep your
enough to
ass-
cover, the last guy will just cover the stairwell, screw the door.
No, you
Yes.
like Sergeant Rajah to say, you keep your butt right here until the room's been called clear.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, you stay here. The door is the least amount of worries at this point because you just entered a fucking hostile building. So
Sure.
you want to watch all your sectors.
Oh, there you are.
This, like I said, this is the one thing I'm unsure about because I never really got the training on it.
Yeah, it's okay. Yeah, that's good. And plus, you have the biggest weapon system, so you're good at covering that stairwell. Sergeant Rajah, you had something to say. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
So yeah, that's fine. Collins, you should be watching this here. There's a fucking danger area here, and this fucking doorway. Those are
How
two
do you
danger
want me
areas.
to call it when I get in and I clear up to here? Can you,
You just
do I
wanna
continue clearing the whole thing?
You just want to sit here, keep your gun pointed at those danger areas. When everybody gets in, you just say left clear, you say right clear, and then you're gonna push in because you know there's more.
Okay,
And
roger.
then once you clear all of this, they'll call room clear, and you'll work your way up to the second floor.
So primarily, when all of you are breached in here and you've gotten to your site, your area like you're doing right now, so Colin, stay in that corner you're at before. From that part, once you hear Johnson say left, no, Johnson's team leader. So once Johnson hears you say your right side's clear and Johnson knows the room's clear, it's your job as team leader to figure out what's the best way to go. So if your team leader hasn't realized there's a hallway down there, you'll say Collins, you'll say, hey, team leader Alpha, we got a hallway down here that's not clear, and then he'll tell you that. So basically, it's up to the job of team leader and everyone else to make sure that every danger area is clear. The team leader will say, all right, team 2, you push down this hallway. I'm going to get my eyes up on this stairwell. AR, whoever else, last man, get your eyes on towards doorway. So basically, like I said earlier, you reconsolidate. So from there, the team leader basically gives out the next orders what to do if the whole building is not clear. Get what I mean?
Roger.
Yep.
Roger.
So once you get in a room, do not move. Stay where you're at, where you're supposed to do at initial breach. You stay that same position you're on right now. But after you've consolidated, the room is clear. That's where team leader will give out orders what to do next. And it's good to give out initiative saying, hey, team lead, since there's a hallway right here, I'm going to move down here if you want to get the AR to watch security towards the doorway, and you can watch the stairwell if you want to. It's good to give out initiative if you want to. But
I think from what I just gathered, like this has the most communication. Like this gathers the most communication because it's close quarters. And like I didn't know I should move straight from stairs because when we were talking about it, you said the AR should move to the door once the room is cleared. So I'm trying to get all down pat. I'm a perfectionist.
yeah, it's very confusing. Yeah.
Oh, this is gonna bother shit out of you because you're never gonna do this perfect.
Yeah, like I said, CQB is something that can never be something that every treatment can actually do perfectly, but they can get on the path of doing it perfect if need be. If your whole team wants to do it again from the beginning, they can.
Yeah, let's do it real quick because it is getting a little late.
Yeah.
We still have the fly fire part to.
So let's do this here then. Go ahead and just try to clear out the rest of the room. You could basically fix your mistake once you get to live fire. That'll be better.
Cool.
All right, so yeah, try to clear out the room and then we'll move to live fire.
Team leader,
Understood.
we have a hallway that is unclear. Moving to clear.
Wade, keep an eye on the stairs. Okay, Collins.
And we'll pretend that Collins is with his battle buddy.
Okay, Collins, go ahead and fall back in. We're gonna mount up on the stairs. I'll take point.
Roger.
Fall in.
On your six.
Gap right.
Roger.
Moving left.
Good
Doorway.
Copy.
Opening door.
Good copy.
Pine door.
Clear.
Clearing balcony.
All right, awesome job.
Balcony.
And basically, you'll just say building clear, or room clear, and then you guys just exit out the building. And what do you say when you exit out the building?
Coming down. Three coming out.
There you go. Awesome.
Question.
Yes.
If you move upstairs, I can show you better than I can tell you.
So.
When I come out this door, we're circling, we're looking, we're rotating. We come around this area over here to the east. How would you cover that hallway right here to the east where we can't see around this corner? Do I just keep moving?
Yeah, that's something. Yeah, that's something I need to point out. Essentially, you've already cleared out this compound. Yeah, you never want to clear out a building if you haven't cleared out the vicinity that's around the building. You get what I mean? So let's come outside real quick. So as I told you earlier, when you're stacking into that live fire area, you're stacking onto the compound walls. You're not stacking to the building. So when you stack into this compound walls, the first thing you do is you breach into the compound and you clear out the outside of the compound. The outside of the building. So you'll be going through here. You're doing the same basic breaching techniques that you do in the building as you do in the compound. A buddy team will go this way, buddy team will move down that way, and you basically will clear out the compound walls. Once it's clear, then a team leader will say, "All right, team, let's move to the doorway," and you just follow alongside these walls and make your way towards the doorway. Get what I mean?
Roger.
Yeah. So the compound should already be cleared before you move on to breaching the building.
So whose job would it be, the first, second, third man, to make that corner and look down and say, all right, this balcony is clear down towards the ground? Whose job would that be?
You're checking the balcony, not checking it outside the balcony. You're just checking the balcony, make sure no one's out there. You get what I mean?
Because by the time we're in the building, that hallway to the side that you were identifying is already cleared.
Yeah.
We do the entire outside of the building, and then we stack up on the building to clear the interior. The exterior is already cleared.
That's what I was looking for. Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Also, if you think about this in context, when you're doing this in operation, there's other elements moving online with you on either sides, clearing other buildings. So, technically the limit of advance is moving with all the elements you're working with. So, no element should be pushing too far ahead so they don't expose their rear security.
Well, that was, I think,
Roger.
I say that because Sunday there was an issue. We were going into the building. another element came in through the far side, and I didn't know that they were coming through. I thought they were enemy, and then somebody threw smoke, so I couldn't even identify. I saw movement. I didn't know who it was, so that's where I'm worried. You don't want to know how that ended. It was
Yeah,
pretty
okay.
bad.
Well, that's on them
That's
for
okay.
bad communication.
Yep. Alright, so
That's
with you,
that's why I'm asking.
let's go ahead and go down to live right now where you guys could enjoy the rest of your night.
Don't go wide. Stay tight to the wall. Trust me. And stop before that entrance.
Alright, stop here, stop here. Alright, oh god. Alright, stack up on this wall. Live fire begins, lock and load. Yes, wait.
That's what I was about to ask.
Yep, lock and load. Go ahead and do your normal stack order. Like I said, you treat this compound as if it's actual building. Yes.
Take point.
You're fucking
Right.
standing in the doorway.
Yeah, I saw him walking by.
Gillen, I don't know if you want to stand up there.
Yeah. Wait, get down, Gillen. for a
Okay,
little
Collins, we're gonna clear in and left, ideally. Well, we're gonna pie this entrance as well.
Yes.
Okay, Collins, go ahead and pie the entrance to the compound.
Roger.
I always wish we have enough time to actually.
Alright, we have one enemy KIA at our 12 at the center, but at our front there's a straight hallway towards a truck. Left is blind, and there's a building to our middle.
Were there
No.
contacts behind and on that truck?
No, let's go
Did
ahead.
not see that. I was just seeing one contact at our 12 in front of the truck. It is KIA.
Okay, let's do a normal breach to enter the compound. Go ahead and get set.
Roger. Bridging right. One set.
Make sure you're on your feet.
One set.
2 set.
3 set.
It's last man set. Breach.
Last man set.
Bridging right.
Breaching right. Breaching left. Compound is clear to the corner. Friendly's coming around right.
Blue on blue. Blue on blue. Stand by. I got him. Stand by.
He's up.
Alright, continue on.
I'll back up. Hey, let's stack up on this door right here. Stack up on me. Collins, you're gonna pie this door. Heard. There was one right in front of us right here.
Never point your rifle down. Keep your rifle up.
I'm having issues waking him up. Hang on. Just cover the door for me.
Guys, make sure your rifle is pointing up. We'll keep that eyes in the doorway.
Getting next to the wall so they can't shoot the window. There's 3 contacts inside.
What happened was because you guys didn't call your stack and you didn't pie it correctly. But let me go ahead and get him up. Do you have morphine or epi?
I don't have morphine.
You didn't call your first right.
Did you bandage him up? Did you bandage him up yet or no?
No, he's fucked.
Well, bandage him up. Do not give him morphine epi when he's already up. Once he's bandaged up, keep your eyes on the doorway, Blade. Never keep your eyes off that danger area. Essentially, you won't be bandaging him up because you got to make sure you clear out that building first before you bandage him up. But I want everyone to go through this whole part, so.
I think he's bandaged.
Alright. And we'll imagine that Mike gave him epi. Alright, do it again from the top.
Let's reset our stack. Wade, go ahead and take points since you're already on the door. Collins, fall in. You're last man.
I heard AI. Is this chance like the actual chance, or have you heard AI? I think you heard AI. Alpha's a better sure, Alpha's a better team lead. Usually is always the Bravo team.
Breach. One going in right.
Oh, he stopped.
I'm going to clear this room. Wade, watch the corner.
Don't stop, keep moving.
Wade, keep an eye on the stairs. Right is clear.
That was horrible.
Collins, watch the stairs.
Watching.
For some reason, I can't move him at this moment, but he's down again. Sergeant, can you pick Wade back up, please? Apologies, thank you.
Make sure you're on full auto and you're blowing to that trigger, so hold on to that trigger. Don't try to single tap. That web system is not made for single tapping.
Guys, Collins, go ahead and take point up the stairs. I'll fall in behind.
Thanks for the follow, Chance. I need to change that alert sound.
I'll open the door for you.
Roger. Clear right.
Get all the way out there. Building clear. Fall out.
Coming down.
Opening door. 3 coming out.
Stay inside. Well, it all could have been worse than what the fuck happened when y'all came in here. You took this guy out, you took the other guy out there by the door. Y'all ran right across the fucking room and ran dead smack into this guy, and he took you out, Wade, and he almost took out a second guy. Which should have happened if y'all would have fucking drug your asses against the wall like you were supposed to. You would have had a better chance of taking him down before he took you down.
Yeah, because basically you guys went across the middle, you got all of you lined up. So one person went down while one person got injured. If you guys would stick to the wall, then not all of you would have been lined up and got down like that.
And it could have been another case of blue on blue, because all 3 of you almost started shooting at this one guy, and yeah, it could have been.
Quest Sergeant.
Yeah.
When I'm coming in like this, and I know we're not supposed to be third person, immersion, whatever, how can you tell when you're on the wall, when you're up against a table? Like, you don't want to just you don't want to turn and look because something might happen. What is your
Keep tapping.
experience?
When you're moving, just keep tapping back as you're going around, and you're using your mouse to turn. Just keep tapping back every once in a while, and that'll keep your ass against the wall.
Definitely.
I came in. I know I came in wide. I know I came in way wide.
No, you
I
came
popped
in
this.
not wide enough.
I came
Wide
in.
would have been you against the fucking wall. You came in tight.
Yeah, I
and
came
you
in tight.
fucking cut
I
the
Yeah, you
popped
door.
you
this guy.
yep, you cut through
Popped
the
this
hallway.
guy, and he said, "Watch the stairway." So I turn. I see a third guy. He wants me to watch the stairway. Do I just take care of the contact?
I
Do
think
I
the
just
better thing would have been if you guys went to a room that you didn't know what was there, but then you guys immediately decided to put your eyes to the doorway. I meant the hallway. I meant the stairway, which is why that got you guys messed over. You get what I mean with Sergeant Margieta. Yeah, since you guys
So
already knew the room, you guys just automatically just put your eyes on things without being aware of context. Go ahead, Sergeant
yeah,
Margieta.
but who was here? Who was here? Johnson, that was you.
Yeah, I rotated
So he
after
would have been
Wade
the
came.
first one to kill that guy. Everybody else should have stopped. One person should have had their eyes on a door. The other one should have had his eyes up the stairs. And Johnson would have came around and fucking made that guy into Swiss cheese.
Well, what happened was when I came in, I popped this guy over here. I immediately rotated, popped. I I don't know if I killed that guy or not, but I came over here to watch this doorway and this over here, popped this guy, and I got down to right here, and he said, "Watch the stairwell." Well, I got these
Hold on.
guys. I
So
can't
here's
do
one
that.
thing. First, when you guys initially breached in, you guys just continued on moving throughout the whole room. You guys didn't stop and then reconsolidated. You continued movement. But when you guys continued on, the thing is, like Sergeant Marshall said, if you guys was ticked alongside the wall, you didn't have to worry about trying to watch your sector or not. If you're taking contacts, your eyes will be on the contacts. You're not worrying about this dangerous sector. But your second guy would immediately put his eyes on that, like Sergeant Marjorie said. If your team leader is telling you, "Hey, get your eyes onto that stairwell," you tell them, "Well, I'm getting." You're gonna just continue engaging those contacts. You tell them you're getting engaged with contacts. But sometimes leaders, sometimes they can't put so many information in their head at once because they have to talk on radio A, and then B, they don't see what you're seeing. You get what I mean? So you just tell your team leader, "I can't right now. I'm engaging contacts. I'll do it once I'm killed to everyone else." You get what I mean? Now, when you said that that you can go in third person, sometimes, like we said earlier, Armor 3 doesn't give you the realistic stuff that you need to know, such as the feeling of you feeling the wall on your back. So you could go on third person when you're breaching the building. Like, we're not saying that third person is forbidden. We're just saying don't abuse it, you get what I mean? So, like, when you're in a vehicle, you can still be on third person, you just can't kill out any contacts. You can breach and building on third person, immediately, obviously. So yeah, we're just saying don't abuse it, okay? You get what I mean?
Roger that. But
Yeah,
another thing was when you were saying you knew the building. Like when I came in, I engaged this guy over here. I engaged these over here. I was here, and he said, "Wade, grab the stairs." I was thinking, I'm not near the stairs. I'm over here killing these guys
yeah.
on
So
this hallway. So yeah,
Yeah,
like
but
we
who was
really
the
did
first
it.
person in?
yes,
Yeah,
Johnson was
actually,
the first person in. You were fucking shooting past.
yes,
You weren't covering your sector. You were covering the
sergeants,
fucking point guy's sector.
mind if I do a quick
Yeah.
explanation here? So, privates go back over in that other room here. All right, who was first in? No, not outside. Come
Wade
back in.
was.
Wade, okay, Wade, come over here.
I came in. I killed this guy directly to the south, right here.
Right. Okay. So check it out. Watch out, Gillen. So when you come into this room,
I'm joining in on this right here.
so
Excuse me.
when you're staying on the wall, you know you're using the same concept as slicing the pie. You're keeping that angle, right? So you see this guy before he even sees you, and you're protected from the stairs because you know they can't see unless they come down. But then the second guy, see where Smith is? He's watching the stairs already, so that danger area is covered. So right here, you have the angle to kind of like squeeze around, peek, take that guy out. You know, it's all about using the room to your advantage, you know, which is why we don't run across because immediately you've lost the angle on that guy.
But
Right.
the thing was when I came in, I immediately engaged this guy, and when I was up on this guy right here was immediately on me. And then I
Right.
was told to watch the stairs. So what do you do from there?
Yeah.
And
So
the
like
third
I
guy
said,
came in shortly after.
wait, slow down. Here, listen. What I said earlier. If your team leader tells you to watch the stairwell, and you get engaged by contacts, there's still contacts in the area, and the area is not clear, you ignore that order and immediately continue engaging the contacts. You can tell them later, "Hey, I was still engaged in contacts. I couldn't watch the stairwell," because like I said earlier, um, we can ignore stuff from leadership at a certain standpoint if it's a life or death situation. If your squad leader tells you to move across the field and you realize it's a minefield, tell your team leader, I mean squad leader, hey, there's a minefield up ahead. We can't cross through that. You don't have to always listen to every order. Okay, so if your team leader tells you watch your eyes in that stairwell, ignore it and continue engaging those contacts. Okay, get what I'm saying? All right, there you go.
Yeah, because basically I walked in on 3 guys.
Yeah.
It's like I don't know what.
Okay. Private Johnson.
Just to add a little bit of context to what you're saying, Private Wade, you shouldn't have had responsibility of the staircase, but due to the nature of the circumstances that you.
Sorry, you cut out there.
If you're still talking, we can't hear you.
Oh, sorry. It was my intention that you would make it all the way over to the far corner in here, and Collins would be behind you to take the corner where Specialist McCoy and Smith are sharing, since I was going to be stuck in that other room over there. But since we ended up all stacking up in a blood puddle by the bottom of the stairs, and I didn't want to shoot over your shoulder, I figured as soon as you stood up, you'd have the best line of sight up the stairs. But you're correct in assuming that I don't believe you should have had the responsibility of taking those, because Collins would have rotated to where Sergeant Mojiota is now, and he would have had the best line of sight. It was just a situational decision.
CQB.
It's all right. It's all trial and error. This is pretty advanced shit. So this is stuff you'll be constantly learning.
You can bring me back up. It's all good.
So we're running very, very late. Something that I did forget to point out to you guys that I want to point out before we close in. That something if someone goes wrong, stay wrong. Like you learned during the air course. I mean, learning about mounting, dismounting airframes. If someone goes to the wrong side, say if I say I'm going left and I go right, just correct it and you go to the opposite side. That person goes in front of you. I saw that happen and I forgot to point that out. And then something else I wanted to point out when you guys breached in the building, but I forgot and it slipped out of my head. But well, I'll tell you guys that later on if I remember during day 4. But you guys are firmly dismissed because it's now an hour after. You guys have a good night. Enjoy the rest of your Thursday night.
Thank you, Sergeant.
Thank you, Sergeant. See you guys on Thursday.
Yep.
Oh, I can't remember now. You guys disconnect while you're hearing this, but you can still hear me when you disconnect. If a person goes down, I mean, once you breach, like I said earlier, when you're breaching inside of a doorway or an entryway, you immediately do not stop. Keep going in. If you're getting engaged, do not stop. Keep moving so that you don't die in the middle of the doorway. Now, if someone does go down in the middle of the doorway, from that point, you have to drag them into cover. I'm going to drag them out of that doorway and continue breaching into the area.
Roger.
Because essentially, you'll have another squad. You have your other team with there, so the team will basically provide security that down man while the mic gets him up. So you guys just continue breaching in there. Usually a team will relieve you, but yeah.
Roger.
So Margetta, could I get sent back to S3?
No, you didn't do anything wrong, Justin.
Yeah.
I walked into a
Sergeant, I
shitstorm.
just need
No,
to
I get you. It was a bloody
arsenal.
bullet storm. I get you. It's just all about context.
You
I
want to
don't
drop his
even
stuff real
think I
quick?
killed the
Just-
one
Oh,
guy.
yeah,
I killed
yeah.
2,
Sorry,
so I don't even know.
Collins. All right.
Heard. All right, I'll catch you guys on Thursday.
All right. Good job,
Have a
man.
good one.
Same
All right,
place.
Collins. So you're loadouts.
Are we not going to do the long range if we can stay?
Let me just get Private Collins' loadout sorted out here. So you got that one saved as Grenadier, right?
Roger.
All right.
Alright guys, I can tell you, thank you so much for watching. Sorry, I had to mute myself. Thank you guys so much for watching, man, and all the follows and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thank you guys so much for that support and continue watching me. Like I said, I will be streaming Siege in just about 10 minutes. If you want to stay on, just wait. I'll be streaming Siege in about 10 minutes. I have to load up Siege real quick. Look for my friends. We might be playing some Raycar or some casual maybe. But thank you so much for watching, guys. Stream will end in about 5 minutes. Now quickly switch towards another scene. And I'm waiting here. It seems like I just got a notification of another follow, so wait for that. Now the reason why I'm playing 2 games at once today is because I'm shipping this computer out. Thank you for the follow, Exotic Princess. Sorry the alerts did not pop up on this screen because I don't have it on this scene. But thank you for the follow, Exotic Princess. But yeah, moving on to what I was saying earlier, though, I'm shipping my computer out. I'm sending this one out towards to the seller, and my new computer should be coming in either Wednesday night and Thursday night. So I won't be streaming on Wednesday. But I will be there on Thursday. but I can't stream, so I won't be having my graphics card. So I don't know if my CPU could take the graphics of Arma 3 and stream it at the same time. So I don't want to blow out the new processor. And I'm getting an i7 7700K, so I don't know if it could take Arma 3 and stream it at the same time. But if it can, if I find some good experts who tell me that if it can, then I will be streaming that, so you guys won't be left out on day 4. But till then, I'll see you guys in 10 minutes. Alright, hopefully this career could take Siege and stream. So it's working very well so far.